and good morning to Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield today for VFL Round 5 action between the Brisbane Lions and Port Melbourne, and what is a crucial match for these two sides today, hoping to find their second win of season 2026. Jess Webster with you in commentary alongside Essendon AFLW co-captain Bonnie Toogood and former Lion and Blues captain Sam Doherty. Good morning to you both.
Morning, Jess.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Last week, the Lions got on the winners list for the first time, a strong 38-point win over the KC Demons, and Reece Torrent was one of their best, Bon.
He definitely was, and he's had a terrific start to this VFL season, finding a lot of the football with 31 disposals last week. What's been most impressive, though, is his clearance work, and then his also ability in the contest to lay tackles with 5 clearances last week and 8 tackles as well. And then he's consistently scoring. He's kicked 5 goals in 3 games, so midfielders that are able to put scores on the scoreboard are crucial in the game today.
Absolutely. He's kicked goals in every one of his games so far in 2026. Port Melbourne, they won their first match of the season. They've lost their last 3, including going down to Box Hill last week by 73 points. But Connor Downey, Doc, he can hold his head high. Yeah,
he can. He's had a really good start to the season, and another one of those midfielders that's kicking goals. And he's a former Hawk, second-round draft pick in the 2020 draft, so back at VFL level here. And he's had a really strong start to the season, and you can see his stats on the screen there, 28 disposals, 4 clearances and a goal. But it's his ability to work between the contests that's the highlight for him.
And from one former Lion to another, we've got former Brisbane captain Bess and Ferris and All-Australian Tom Rockcliffe on the boundary for us this morning. Good morning to you, Tom.
Yes, good morning, team. It's a bit of tricky conditions down here. Winds blowing. It was sunshine about 30 minutes ago, but the cloud is certainly building. A late change for Port Melbourne as well in the last warm-up. Highmore went down, Hawkins in, so a very, very late change there. But could be tricky conditions. Look like there's a little bit of rain on its way.
Thanks, Tom. That's a big out for Port Melbourne. Tom Highmore, the former Saint, one of their most experienced players as well on their list, out with a calf injury. The former Swans Academy member Tom Hawkins comes in, so that might make life a little tougher for Port Melbourne today, coming up against this Brisbane Lions outfit with 13 AFL listed players in action today. Looking forward to this contest at Brighton Homes Arena. Just about ready to go. Umpire holds the ball aloft. And we're underway in Springfield. Chance for Stubbings to get the first possession away. Polkinghorn's also in there. Coming through, one of the youngsters, Fazaldine for the Lions. And they finally win the clearance up to half forward. That's a good kick. Out to meet it is Will McLaughlin, kicked 4 goals straight in their win against the KC Demons last week. Tough to do at Casey Fields, Bon.
I was just about to say, Jess, it can be a bit swirly down at Casey, so to kick 4 straight is genuinely impressive.
Brisbane Lions kicked 20 goals 5 in their big win. This is from outside 50, but it's missing near side.
You can see the wind there. He's comfortably flown that one over the fence. Good attempt, but a little wayward.
This is Gannon defence. Shares it with Rankin. Long kick down the line to a pack. Liam Jones in the contest there for the Lions. They've coughed it up. Hobbs gets a handball away. That hand pass a little errant. It's close to the boundary line. It's going to be out. I don't think anyone touched it. So, no, they did. So it will be, no, it will be a free kick to the Brisbane Lions. Beacon pokes it down the line, and then he's gone out of play. Not exactly the prettiest start to this contest.
But you can see early Port Melbourne wanting to generate the forward handballs and get the ball moving quickly. Catching Brisbane's, once we get the play underway a little bit more, hopefully then catching Brisbane's defence off guard a little bit.
Yeah, remarkable there. The ball never entered the field of play, so it's a throw, and he kicked it out on the full, but it never crossed the line to come back into play from the Brisbane Lions. So there's a big watch as well on the boundary umpires on the broadcast side as well today. The wind's blowing quite strongly to the left of screen, but also to that pocket, so there'll be short boundary throw-ins on this side.
You might get a few touches this morning, Tom, from your vantage point.
Just rack and stack like I used to.
Curtis McCarthy trying to get a kick away, the brother of Link McCarthy. Baldwin, though, sends it up to half forward through the hands of Jones. Pretty handy pickup for the Lions VFL side this year. Liam Jones, over 200 games for the Dogs, and Carlton, he's joined the club this year as a development coach and VFL assistant coach as well. I thought, why not go out there and get a kick?
Yeah, it's not a bad way to play, is it? Do your job during the week and then roll out and have a kick of the footy on a weekend. But you're a really strong defender, athletically brilliant.
Lloyd kicks to the open side. It's Tom Duday laying a tackle.
Scrappy start to the game, obviously, but there's a lot of pressure going on from both teams. The conditions might be playing their part, but both teams in the contest are putting on a lot of pressure at the moment, which is causing a lot of the errors.
We know it's early in the season, but it really is a crucial game for these two sides. Competition is so tight that you want to try and create separation on the ladder. Just one win to each side today, or this season. So it's available 4 points up for grabs today.
It will be really interesting to see how both teams play the conditions. We know that Brisbane like to kick mark, build up the ball a little bit more. When and if it does get a little bit wet and rainy, how will that shift throughout the game?
Dylan Smith with some space on the wing, kicks up towards half forward. McCarthy to full forward, reading it best. In flight is Fraser Rossman. The former D, spent a couple of years on their list. And he'll get it back. Long to the outer side, Jones with a fist. Out of play.
That'll be a great matchup. Liam Jones and Kane Baldwin, two strong guys going head-to-head. Really keen to keep an eye on that matchup.
Kane Baldwin played 8 AFL games on Essendon's list for a couple of seasons. He's Hayes from the contest, shares it with Torrent. He's been in great form to start season 2026, still searching for his opportunity at the top level. Cody Curtin, a young draftee for the Lions. Pumps it long into attack, off hands. Again, doing the hard stuff in defence, comes up the Lions' way. Rankin, though, broke it up. It's close to the line, he's tackled over and out. Really looking forward to seeing how Cody Curtin develops in the VFL this year. Pick number 43 in last year's draft. Of course, the younger brother of Daniel at the Adelaide Crows.
It's the day of the brothers of and sons of today. There's
plenty out there.
There's a few brothers of current players, and there's a few sons of ex-players playing in this game today. So interesting watch on all of them.
The Lions have 3 of their 2025 draftees out there today, as well as a Category B rookie and Ben Murphy, who we're looking forward to seeing. Bon, the Irish recruit, playing just his second official game of Aussie rules, we're calling it. He made his VFL debut last week.
He didn't too badly as well. 10 disposals, 2 clearances himself. But he's 19 years old and come all the way over this side of the country, of the world, and trying his hand at AFL.
The Lions go into attack again. Rossman tackled by Aberley. Turns 24 on Wednesday. Taj Aberley, have a birthday to celebrate coming up during the week.
It's amazing the stats that you come up with, Jess.
I've been watching Taj Aberley play football for a very, very long time. He's a great young product of the Lions Academy. Debuted for Brisbane in the VFL in 2021, but he was playing NEFL prior to that for Aspley, Taj Aberley. So I think he's probably got, I reckon, maybe 100 games of state league experience.
Just in the game here, it's obviously the contest is going towards the left-hand side of the screen, but Brisbane on top in the contest early, winning the contested possession. So they're really playing most of this first quarter in their half, which I'd like to see Port Melbourne start to maybe lower their eyes a little bit and try and work the ball out.
See if they can generate something off half-back. That's a strong grab from Baldwin over Jones.
It's a huge mark.
Early taste of hopefully what that matchup will give us this morning. A short kick to Stubbings. Another short one. Mark couldn't be completed. George comes through. Hemble didn't reach the target, but he follows up with a strong tackle on Murphy. But he's given away a free kick for too high. Murphy's kick into the centre is a good one. Another touch coming up for Torrent. Searching kick to half forward. Missed the target. Rankin's there for Port. Shares it with Hurd. That kick was touched off the boot. Aberley can send the Lions back inside forward 50. They've got a man out. And they'll get a shot at goal. And it'll be McLaughlin again.
We're seeing it so often in the modern game, how crucial turnover is. If you, as a team, as a side, can generate that turnover, how much easier you can have a better look inside 50, Doc.
Yeah, and the best teams, they punish well off turnover, and then it's as much on the kick, but Will McLaughlin's reaction there, he saw the turnover, saw it happening, and his ability to get forward of the ball with speed creates an easy inside 50 and a relatively easy shot on goal with the win at his back here.
Picked up in the mid-season draft a couple of years ago, Will McLaughlin in good goal-kicking form of late, and he sends that one through for Brisbane's first.
Terrific kick from Will there, and as we spoke about, it was the pressure that the Lions have been putting on a lot of pressure on Port Melbourne to start this game, and being able to play most of this quarter in their forward half. But nice little a nice kick inside 50 to a man that had done some good work. You can see it on the screen here. He's just in the screen. Turnover ball happens, and he's already at the back.
I think that was Curtin too, putting the smother on. He's shown some good signs to start this game. A ruck contest before where he had a shot on goal, so that's pleasing signs for him. But yeah, as you said, Doc, it's so crucial when a forward can rip forward that with speed and make that decision. It's just the time and space you find yourself in is can be a lot more than you think.
Just on the inside 50 count, just before you start taking over, it's 6-1 in the Lions' ways to make this 7-1. So it shows the territory dominance that they've had.
Hayes with the inside 50, but Van Ness takes the intercept grab. Green, another brother of Doc.
There's a few. We'll get through all of them at one stage.
Brother of Tom at GWS. Kick out wide, the turnover though. Jones. Inboard.
Dunkley, brother of.
Brother of Josh. Pumps it to full forward. Gets out the back, and someone get boot to ball. No, it'd be another minor score to the Lions.
We are getting through them quite quickly, though.
If you Port Melbourne, just explaining what I was saying before, the ability to just lower your eyes a little bit. So like that ball to go to Benito in the pocket there rather than kick it long.
Lions win it back. Waller kick smothered. No, it'll be out of bounds on the full.
Come down if you want. Yeah, Doc, you make a great point about Port Melbourne. A bit the same for Brisbane Lions as well. They're dominating their inside 50s, but often when you're kicking with the breeze, you can expect it to do everything for you. They've got to look to lower their eyes inside 50 and hit those targets. They're just kicking long inside 50, and with the carrier of the breeze, they do need to lower their eyes inside 50 and really capitalise on this inside 50 dominance.
Don Bedendo just has to go and search for his own footy. Good news, yes, found it.
Hiding there behind the head.
Dendo long down the line, big pack. Baldwin in front position, couldn't hang on. Wanted the free kick, didn't get it.
He's presenting well, Baldwin. His AFL career didn't find much luck through there through a lot of injury, and he's been able to come back in the VFL with Port and finally play footy again and enjoy what he does. It was a bit of a rough trot for him at Essendon, but then also post his delisting.
Yeah, delisted at the end of 2024, but didn't play last year due to a foot injury. So you're right, Bon, it's just great to see him back playing footy as Hobbs is driven into the turf. Chance for Hurd. Gets around one. That kick, again, touched off the boot. 41 on the wing. Hobbs attacked the contest hard. Coming through Polkinghorne. This is a better build-up for Port Melbourne. Bedendo, searching kick inside forward 50. It's off hands. Joyce in defence for the Lions. Happy to see it out.
It was a better build-up. It was a bit scrappy, but sometimes that's what the game gives you. And they were running in waves, which was great. Being able to just generate momentum, get the ball moving forward, and now it'll be interesting that hopefully they can lock it into their forward half and get some territory time.
Just a second inside 50, Port Melbourne. Here's Murphy, the Irishman. Ooh, big contest between Rossman and Evans. Hobbs. And now Waller can mop it up at half-back for Brisbane. And things are now opening up for the Lions. Kick into the path of Smith. Inside 50 they go. Torrent. Oh, goes through the hands of Curtin. It stays alive. No, it's over the line. And they made a mess of that in the end.
Another example of the Lions forwards and their reaction. That's obviously trained really well at their AFL side, but their VFL side here, just their ability to see the turnover happening and get out the back is a worrying sign for Port Melbourne. So making sure they're not ball watching and picking up their men as they roll forward.
Might be another worrying sign as Rossman looked a little sore heading to the bench. If you've just joined us, a late out for Port Melbourne. Tom Highmore tweaked his calf in the warm-up. Hawkins his replacement. Polkinghorne sends him into attack. Reading at best is Beacon in defence for the Lions. Long down the line. Hits a target. And Smith. Squaring kick is dangerous. It works out. Offermans. Over the top. Dunkley. They go forward once more. Oh, is that an unrealistic attempt? Mark was paid anyway as Graham takes off and he's turned it over.
Seems like Port at the moment, when they're moving forward, they're just blazing away a little bit. They look solid with the handball chains when they're doing that, but when they're kicking, they just seem to be missing targets or being just a little bit overzealous with just kicking it long. And as he said before, Doc, not lowering their eyes.
Yeah, they do look quite good when they're running, carrying, and running in numbers. But as you said, Bond, their last kick inside 50 in this last 5 minutes has really hurt them. They probably had 3 or 4 opportunities to be able to lower their eyes inside 50 and just miss that target. But positive signs in the way they're playing, being able to run and carry the ball. That's what you need to do against a strong breeze.
Brisbane really going the goal of the game so far through McLaughlin. Hurd soccers it off the turf. Ricochets off a few sets of legs, and it'll be a lasso free kick in the end. So Brisbane's free at half forward. Marshall will send them back into attack. Last year's premiership player. That's a beautiful kick too.
Can hear some direct feedback out there at the moment. Where's the handover?
Dill Smith to have a look at the big sticks.
For those wondering what a handover is, it's when 2 players come together, the defence kind of swap man, so you're handing over your man. So it was a poor piece of defence by Port Melbourne, which left a player out by himself.
Former NEFL player for Sydney and Aspley. The Queensland representative last year, Dill Smith, and he's missed his opportunity.
But it was a great kick inside 50. Something that we've already said multiple times to start this game is how crucial that lowering the eyes, particularly when you do have the breeze and think that it can do the work for you. So it was a great kick inside.
Clark. Back to Gann. Now wants to go to Hurd. Skipper of the Borough. Called to play on one way than the other. Some more pace-up build up here for Port. Hurd will get it back. Kick again. Didn't quite hit a target. Duday to Joyce. Torrent in defensive 50. Off hands, and maybe a chance for Port Melbourne to find a target up forward. Polkinghorne's been busy early, sends it to a pack, and Liam Jones had his name written all over that, as you would expect. Yeah,
it's just not a method I think is going to work against the Lions today. They've got some good AFL experience between Jones, Darragh Joyce and Tom Duday, three players that have played a fair bit of footy at AFL level. I just don't think that blazing away and kicking high into that forward line is going to be a great method for them today. I don't mind that. That's trying to lower the eyes. That's trying to get the ball in a better position and access more of the ground. I know he turns it over, but better method.
Luke Lloyd. Let's just send it all the way back to the last line of defence. Duday. Kick not his best off the boot, but it's going to work out. That handball not great either. Rankin sees it over.
It's also, too, Lions' system, you can see they come over and support each other in defence. So if it is a 1v1, they're trying to make it a 2v1 to support each other. So you really have to be really deliberate with that inside 50 kick.
And that comes from experience and positioning and being able to play at the top level. You kind of get used to those decisions a lot. So they've got some serious experience, especially in the tall defenders down there.
Hurd goes to Rankin. Steps around his opponent, measures the kick, and that's better from Port Melbourne. Here's Tovey, who's been in great form for the Borough this season. 3 goals, 21 disposals last week, and 11 tackles.
Big kick for goal here. It's territory dominance in favour of the Lions. It's just their 6th inside 50 for Port Melbourne to be able to get a goal on the board here and steady the game up.
Kicks it across the face. There was a fly in that contest. And it's going to be a free kick to Brisbane, I think, for an unrealistic attempt.
Very early on the jump there.
Took off from Melbourne yesterday. Joyce. Out wide. Grant brings it to ground. Zakastelski. One of the 2 changes to Brisbane's side today. Zakastelski. It takes you a few times, I think, to get that.
You got it.
To get that right. And Fergus McFadgen coming into the VFL side for the Lions today. Connor McKenna and Tunstall are in the AFL side as it's a free kick to Brisbane at halfback. More to the wing. Rankin at the fall of the ball. Hurd, Hobbs.
Great kick.
Great kick. Rudd searching for options, or is he going to go back and have a look?
It's going to be a big kick from here. Port Melbourne, the defence going really well. Anytime you get in the Brisbane Lions kick long down the line, it's a good thing. They're so well drilled at finding those shorts. So they've done a good 5 minutes of defence here to play the ball in their half.
Just in his 4th game of VFL, Michael Rudd, right on the pain of 50. There's plenty of height into it, but it's fading late. It's knocked out of play.
They have stemmed the tide a little bit. They've been a bit more active around contests, particularly when they do force Brisbane long down the line. As you said, Doc, they're able to get numbers to the contest and then generate a turnover and move it inside 50. So they've definitely turned that around in this later part of the quarter.
Got a chance here with a forward 50 stoppage. Hobbs tackled to the turf. He's going nowhere. .28 disposals and a goal last week for Ben Hobbs, and they lost to Box Hill. Green is caught. Do it all again.
Repeat stoppages inside 50 are a good thing. It allows your defence to set up behind the ball. It just allows you to play the game and keep it in your territory for a longer period of time and put Brisbane's defence under some more pressure.
It's also really hard to score from down there from an offensive point of view for Brisbane to be able to get the ball out, as they've nearly gone the length of the ground in one kick here. But
it's Joyce with a big kick to half forward. Hawkins takes possession. He's brought to turf. If you've just joined us, Tom Highmore laid out for Port Melbourne, and Hawkins is his replacement. Free kick for a push in the back. Going against Kobe Evans, pick number 38 in last year's draft out of Perth.
Strong start for Tom Hurd. He's up to the 10 disposals, leading possession on the ground.
Port Melbourne have turned it over. Tom Duday looking forward to seeing if he can earn his place in the AFL side for Brisbane. Has had a horrid run of injury of late. Played round 22 last year, Tom Duday, and then had wrist surgery in the off-season. From the stoppage, Dunkley. It's wrapped up. Torrent trying to break free, couldn't do so. Chance for Hurd. Hurry kick off the boot. Bedendo in front position, knocked away from him by Murphy. Baldwin comes through. And they've worked this out nicely, Port Melbourne. George kicked down the line, didn't quite have the carry. And we're going to have a ball up.
We really do have kind of two opposing styles going on at the moment. We've got Brisbane, who are happy to build it up with kick mark kind of game, where Port are very happy and going inside 50 now to Kane, who's running into an open goal.
Call it home, Bonnie.
Sorry, Jess, I took it away, but Kane Baldwin with an open goal square and running in and kicks it. First goal for Port Melbourne and for their score today. Jess, look, I'm new to the play-by-play, and I think I need to give it back because that was no good.
Very well done there. It's really, really poor defence in the end. There's a set play stoppage, and I don't know whether Baldwin's just been able to outwork Darragh Joyce or what's happened, but someone hasn't picked him up, and good territory decision from inside stoppage to be able to get out the back and kick their first goal of the game and even up this quarter, which if you're Brisbane, 1-5, you'd be ruining the missed opportunities when you've had the breeze going your way this quarter.
Kind of looked like something out of nothing a little bit for Port Melbourne in the end, but whatever works for you. It's been a bit of an arm wrestle in this opening quarter, but they finally get their first goal on the board, and it was a timely one. Cuts the margin back to 5. Hobbs to Green to Rankin. They can win the clearance. The Borough out to George. We'll send it long. See if they can get a mark. Brisbane's defence is well set off hands. Duday feeds it out. Ryder with the tackle and rewarded.
Port Melbourne just winning more contests at the moment. That contested possession number that I spoke about earlier is evened right up, which means that Port Melbourne have, in the last 10 minutes or so, have been winning that by 5 or 6. So, as we said, that lots going their way at the moment, playing territory dominance in their half for the last 5-6 minutes. Kick the last goal. Important kick here. If they can go in close to quarter time with 2 goals.
Well, this for the lead, Doc.
Yeah.
Max Ryder in his second season at Port Melbourne, the former Swans Academy product. He sends it through. And what a response from Port Melbourne late in this first term.
And as you said before, Doc, you're reeling a little bit with Brisbane with kicking 1-5 and not making the most of the territory that they had early, but also the advantage with the wind as well. But it's been great lift in intensity by Port Melbourne. The energy around the contest, they're hunting, they're moving in packs, they're loving their handball receives. It's generating good territory for them. And then they're now capitalising on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, and as Rocky said earlier, when kicking inside 50, Lions players just blazing away, weren't getting the best of their opportunities when they went forward, and ultimately that's cost them in the second half here.
Yeah, a few injury concerns down here as well for the Brisbane Lions. Murphy's come off, had his shoulder checked by the doctors, and they'll be disappointed with this start now. Port Melbourne flexing their muscles in the last 10 minutes.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, not good news for Ben Murphy in just his second game, the Irish recruit. Hopefully we'll see him back out there. The Lions work it inside forward 50. Well done, Torrent. A shot at goal has got the distance and it's gone through from Offermans. Quick response from the Lions.
It was a great response. His ball drop seemed like it hung out a little bit too far on the outside of his boot, but it was perfect. Was able to just guide it through the middle.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was trying to kick that ball on the outside of his shoe, as we see on the screen here. But Offerman's had a really strong first quarter. He's had the 8 disposals. That's his first goal. 7 of those disposals have been contested. So we're talking about who's winning the contest for the Brisbane side and playing the ball. To get the ball in their half, he's definitely that guy. 3 clearances as well, so having a really strong quarter. Definitely meant it, by the way. I'm giving it to him.
Played basketball in the States for a few years, did Offermans, and he's come back a few years ago, played a couple of games for Brisbane Lions in the VFL 2022, spent 2023 with Southport, back to the Lions in the VFL last year. Surge it forward again, Brisbane. Chance for a late one. Kick didn't hit the target. Borough defence under pressure. They've done well to force a stoppage.
Speaking about that inside 50 kick, that was a great example of it. It's just the drop mark, but lowered the eyes inside 50 and tried to pick out a player.
Torrent under pressure. Sends it towards goal, but he's missed the whole set. Reece Torrent, 20 years of age, picked 64 back in 2023 from WA. Hasn't yet featured at AFL level. 5 goals in his 3 games so far in 2026 VFL season. It's a tough side to crack into at the moment. The reigning premiers. Sam Marshall played in their premiership last year and he can't quite find himself with a spot in the seniors at the moment.
With Oscar Allen and Sam Draper in the team, it's tight for spots for those big boys down there.
Because if you look at the numbers of Torrent and Marshall, they're getting a lot of the football, and it's just showing how good the AFL senior side is at the moment and how hard it is to crack in.
Hayes sends it inside forward, 50 to Brisbane. Swooping through McLaughlin, but he was dispossessed, and free kick for holding the ball.
But isn't that just such a great sign of an elite professional program at its best of its powers?
13 listed out there for Brisbane today. And you also, when you talk about the strength of a program, as we see Tom Duday taking an intercept grab, the quality of their top-ups in the VFL are quite handy. When you think of the brothers of Curtis McCarthy and Kyle Dunkley, but Liam Jones.
Just on Liam Jones, he's had the three marks from Oppo kicks, so he's positioning himself well. And same with Tom Duday, he's had the 2. So we spoke about it earlier, but those intercept marks is a big feature of the Lions back line, especially today with the experience that they have.
Waller and Penry, 2 young rucks, go at it on the outer side. Flynn Penry just playing his 2nd game of VFL, made his debut last week. He was on Port Melbourne's list last year, couldn't get a VFL game. It's a nice tap down to Green, who scraps a kick forward, but it's come up Brisbane's way. Evans, kick into the pocket, and McLaughlin, a few bites at it, but great defence from Gann. Stubbings through the hands of Rankin. Gann try the fend off. Get himself a free kick, I think, for being legged, is what we picked up on the effects mic.
It's a great thing about VFL footy is you can hear everything that's happening on the ground, the good and the bad.
Close to quarter time here at Brighton Homes Arena. Great day at the moment. We believe there is maybe some rain on its way. Big pack on the wing. Tough ball to mark. And the youngster Flynn Penry somehow hangs on. Siren sounds here in Springfield. Quarter time, VFL Round 5 action between the Brisbane Lions and Port Melbourne. And the Lions with their noses in front at quarter time. 2-5-17 leading Port Melbourne 2 straight 12. Don't go anywhere. We've got the 2nd quarter coming up after the break. Anzac round continues across the AFL and VFL competitions this weekend. And at quarter time here at Brighton Homes Arena, it is the Brisbane Lions with a 5-point lead over Port Melbourne, 2-5-17 to 2 straight 12. A moving ceremony pre-game before an important game of football between these two sides in the VFL competition. Jess Webster with you alongside Bonnie Toogood and Sam Doherty. Guys, it wasn't the prettiest game of football in that opening quarter. Port Melbourne hit back late with a couple of goals in a row before Brisbane steadied, so quite evenly poised at the first break.
It was, and Tom Hurd was a big part in stemming the momentum, well, not stemming the tide, and holding, stemming the tide, yes, which is the right word. And he was linking up really well with Hobbsy and Rankin, and they were just helping generate some ball moving forward and some territory, because that's what they were really struggling with at the start of the game.
Yeah, and that inside 50, we spoke about it a bit, but 17-9 in Brisbane's favour. That was off the back of their clearance dominance. They 13-9 in that facet of the game. So their ability to play the game in their half, and as we spoke about a bit through the commentary, but they're tall, stand up and intercept the ball and keep it in their half was a big part of why they went quite well and had a lot of scoring shots. But ultimately, really impressed with Port Melbourne's ball movement off the back of it, to be able to run and carry into a breeze and be able to kick a couple of goals and stem that tide, as one was saying. It's a really good start to the game for Port Melbourne, who now have the breeze.
And from a Brisbane point of view, Charlton Offerman's had a great start to that first quarter. He's a great story too. He was born in Townsville, played college basketball in Kansas for Rockhurst Hawks, former member of the Suns Academy, spent 4 years in the US, and on his return to Australia has applied his trade. He's an NTFL and Quaffle Premiership player, and now playing VFL with the Brisbane Lions. 8 disposals and a goal in that first quarter, as we head downstairs to Tom Rockcliffe, who is with the Brisbane coach, Scott Borlase.
Scott started the game really well. Probably didn't capitalise on your dominance in that first quarter.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're +8 for our inside 50 entries and seven scoring shots. So we're getting enough opportunities to go inside 50. I just thought we lacked a little bit of composure when we went inside 50. But maybe bombing it too much at times.
Do you look to shift the game plan in this second quarter, kicking against a pretty stiff breeze out here?
Yeah, we just talked about under pressure taking territory at times. It is pretty strong going to the left of screen. So, again, it's going to be a bit harder to play potentially our uncontested mark game. So, occasionally it's just get the territory, get it going forward.
Good luck for the rest of the game.
Thanks, mate.
Second quarter about to get underway here. Reece Torrent, 6 disposals in that first quarter for him. That is Charlie Offerman's number 56, a handy point guard. Decided to take up the game of Aussie rules at 16 when he joined the Suns Academy. Now I think footy is his first love. He's lining up against Tom Hurd for this centre ball up to start the second quarter here at Brighton Homes Arena. Lions by 5 points. Zach Kostelski in ruck for Brisbane. There is Offerman's again, tackled by Hurd, and he's going to be rewarded for holding the ball. Quick to move it on to Hobbs. Kicked half forwards, a turnover. Beacon hands it off to Joyce. Long down the outer side. Rossman in front position brings it to ground. Downey's tackled. Ball stays alive. Umpire calls for it.
Doc, as someone that loved a handball receive and streaming through the middle of the ground to generate some ball movement for your side when you were playing, how important is it, though, when you do so, you know what you're kicking to ahead of the footy?
Yeah, I think that there's ultimately you should have a plan of what you're doing, but some players don't need it. I watch Colby McKercher these days for North Melbourne. He just gets the ball and runs and does whatever he wants with it, but ultimately, the ideal is you've had a look before you get the ball, and you know where you're going and where you're going to kick to. It allows you to have less pressure on that disposal, so that you already know roughly where you want to go. But you can see, as you're alluding to, the want for Port Melbourne to get the ball in that handball chain, and as you said, 2 opposing styles. There's a kick mark game for Brisbane, but a run and carry and overlap from Port Melbourne. So contrasting styles.
Scrappy kick forward from Brisbane to a one-on-one. Waller, he's got held and get himself a free kick.
As we heard Scotty Borlase at quarter time say that he wanted to get some territory. That was a really good territory decision by, I'm not sure who it was, but to be able to get the ball, get it going forward, get it to a 1v1, and there's a free kick paid.
It's Fergus McFadgen with the scrappy kick inside forward 50, but it's worked out. The 19-year-old Isaac Waller has been a member of the Lions Academy since he was 12. Got plenty of height in the kick, and he's got the accuracy as well. Whatever gets the job done.
It was a bit of a scrappy kick in, but it was a good position too, because Weller was holding front space, and now that they're kicking into the wind, that's going to be really crucial for the forwards, is holding that front space, protecting. They've got a little bit of a celebration there that we're not quite understand from Isaac Weller just there in the end, but the ball was landing in front. He protected the space and earned himself a free kick and was able to then kick truly.
Well, as Scotty said at quarter time, that those decisions are as much the person with the ball as they are the people forward of the ball. And a team playing on the same page is exactly that. It's the territory decisions to get the ball going forward and take that territory when it's required, but it's your forwards knowing that that's coming, and that was a good example of that.
Polkinghorn's caught by Torrent.
It looks like that Thomas Graham is the matchup for Isaac Waller, and that is a big mismatch in height there, so that's going to be an interesting watch.
Isaac Waller's 204 centimetres at 19 years of age.
Certainly a good target for Brisbane ahead of the footy.
Member of the Allies as well. Hayes caught, got the handball away. Torrent goes in again to Offermans, continues to rack him up. Kick up towards half forward, and that's high contact advantage. Will be paid, has to get rid of it quickly. Rossman does that, pumps Port Melbourne into attack. The spoil from Jones to Joyce, back to Jones, and there's the experience in the Lions back line combining. Joyce with a fend off on Clark. It's a handball away. This is good pressure by Port Melbourne. They force the turnover. Clark from outside forward 50. It's going to be across the face of goal, and it'll wobble out of play.
Much like we were talking about Brisbane in the first quarter, you just can't blaze away with the wind in this quarter, especially with kicking it to a 1v1 with Liam Jones. And I don't think that's the smartest thing to do for your entries. So being able to lower your eyes and not blaze away is going to be a really important part of this quarter for Port Melbourne.
Over 200 games of AFL experience, Liam Jones just patrolling the back line in his role as VFL assistant coach. Hobbs to Stubbings. Towards the goalmouth. Baldwin with a little elevation. Couldn't quite hang on the end. They try to keep it alive, but there's plenty of numbers. And we're going to have a ball up.
That's someone confident in their body. I like seeing Baldwin launching at the footy like that.
They've done that nicely, Brisbane. Torrent, outside of the boot. Stubbings, Rankin. Caught by Evans, just finds his boot. Clark with a fend off. Over the top to Hurd. Snap from the pocket to the goalmouth, and Liam Jones saving the day.
Intercept mark number 4.
He will continue to do that all day. 35 years of age.
Age is only a number. We saw that yesterday with Scotty Pendlebury.
Absolutely.
Although as a 33-year-old, I couldn't think of anything worse than playing football at the moment.
Zakostelski against Grant and Ruck. They both wrestle. Tough ball to be won here, and Offmans is caught. 10 disposals now for Dara Joyce, leading the way for Brisbane. Offermans with 9. Hurd up to 13 for Port. Rankin with 11, the next best. Grant with a decisive tap down to Tovey. It's going nowhere.
3 of the top 5 disposal getters for Brisbane are the 3 tall defenders. Dara Joyce with the 10, Duday with 8, and Liam Jones with 6.
Torrent from the stoppage down the line. Kick out a little bit too much on it. For McCarthy, who moved north for a sea change. Went from Victoria to Noosa, not bad.
How lovely.
Played a bit of VFL with Geelong between 2017 and 2019. Because obviously his brother Link plays for Brisbane, and Curtis is a Lions supporter, so he gets to don his favourite club colours in the VFL. Grant palms it down to Green. Bit of a stalemate here in the second quarter. Zakostelski finds Moore. Everyone's calling for a hold, and the umpire found it.
The umpire, listen, you're right, Jess, it is a bit of a stalemate, but here we might find some run and gun by Port Melbourne, which they've been doing at times today, but both teams had lots of numbers around each contest and was hard to get someone out in time and space to generate some free-flowing footy.
Beacon sends it backwards.
Brisbane playing this quarter quite well, just putting a lot of heat on in the contest, keeping the ball out of too much free-flowing play. They're leading the tackles 14-4 this quarter, I think it is, and playing in a way that there's not too much flow in the game, which is good when you're playing against the wind.
Lloyd to a big pack on the wing. Almost a mark taken. Didn't quite have enough of it. Hobbs to Rankin from the stoppage. It's a good kick in board to Stubbings. Does this open things up for Port? They'll want to switch play. Rossman to Graham. Some run and dash. Baldwin's a long way from home. More importantly, it's probably dragged Liam Jones out of defensive 50 and causing all sorts of problems for Port Melbourne. Baldwin to a contest, and Tovey with the strong hands. Probably just read it best in flight in the end.
I think he did it. I think the choice to bring the ball inside the corridor earlier up on the half-back line was a really smart decision to open up the space and as we just spoke about, just that free-flowing football, and that's going to be really dangerous for Port Melbourne in this second term.
Came across to Port from Collingwood's VFL program. As mentioned earlier, 3 goals and 21 disposals and 11 tackles last week in their loss. And the wind has just taken that and slammed it into the point post. Lions kicked 20 goals 5 last week at Casey Fields, 3 goals 5 today at Springfield. Normally quite different conditions between Casey and Springfield, so I'm not quite sure how they were so accurate last week and not so this week.
The wind can be an unpredictable thing.
It is a bit swirly out there at Springfield at the moment. We are expecting a bit of rain. Joyce down the line of a contest, off hands. Marshall, handball over his head straight to Hurd. Polkinghorn. Stubbings, Baldwin. Oh, well done in the end from Green. He fooled them all and then he hit a target in Tovey.
Had a sider from just here a couple of minutes ago. Brilliant piece of work there, though. Hands through the contest. Able to just get outside the pressure of the Brisbane players. Nice little spin inside 50, and then, as we've spoken about a bit, that composure to lower the eyes from Josh Green there.
5 goals 6 for the season coming into today for Josh Tovey, a 20-year-old. And he makes amends for his miss a couple of moments ago and gets his first of the afternoon. And an important goal for Port Melbourne as they get to within 4 points of the Lions.
He definitely adjusted for the wind on that one. He had a practice go just 2 seconds earlier and then was able to kick it truly. Oh, is it not? Maybe.
No, the goal umpire just wanted to make sure that they got the
semantics.
Signal. Yeah.
I don't know why that needs to happen in the game, to be honest. You could just call the goal.
Got to be sure these days.
But as you said, Doc, it was good contest hands by Port Melbourne. There was pressure coming, but they were able to find composure, particularly here with Green, very similar to what his brother does as well, and then able to lower his eyes inside 50. And Tovey's a wonderful presence up forward, and he has been for Port Melbourne all season.
It's really taking his opportunities this season is Josh Tovey. It's a great story, 20 years of age. Won the Eastern Football Netball League Best and Fairest a couple of years ago.
Just a light sprinkle now here, starting to creep into this game. I don't think we'll get a lot of rain. It seems to be breaking up, but it has just started to rain down here at ground level.
We were crossing our fingers and toes for you, Rocky, but unfortunately we can't control the weather gods. Murphy to Beacon. Offermans, he's been busy. Murphy back to Smith. Joyce down the line with Mark Torrent, and he takes off. Spears it into the pocket. Kick didn't hit the target and goes out of play.
If the weather gets worse, it'll be interesting to see which teams adjust better. We spoke about the territory decisions, but they become very influential in the game once it gets wet. The ability to just get territory and get the ball going your way rather than stuffing around with it in the contest, they'll become really important.
Green. It's a handball out. Clark. Penry. Pokes it down the line. Mark couldn't be completed by Rudd. Baldwin. Port Melbourne work it to half forward. Whistle on play, and it's going to be a Brisbane free kick. Luke Lloyd. It's an aggressive kick. The umpires found a free kick going the way of Aberley.
It was a very aggressive kick. Lucky to get out of it, to be honest.
To the middle for Murphy. Sends it out wide. Ben Murphy will start as a defender, but they believe he's probably could be a winger long term. Plays as a midfielder in the Gaelic game.
Best spot to start the games off, sort of in the back line, see the game in front of you. So smart spot to start. Most of the Irish boys generally start there.
Joyce sends an inside 50 for Brisbane, coming through again though to repel for the Borough. Straight down the corridor, and this will open things up for Port. Baldwin, no one up ahead of him, but an empty goal square. And he misses.
There's been a few times Baldwin's found his way out the back. It must be Brisbane's defence pushing up really high to help with the attack, but as soon as Port have someone that breaks the line, they're really getting caught out with Baldwin, who seems to always be there.
That's the nous of a forward these days. The ability to react off turnover is one of the most important parts of playing forward in the modern AFL game, because those reactions, if you can get a metre or two on your opponent, that's where you get the space out the back and really challenge the defence.
Another ball up at half forward here for Brisbane. And led by 5 points at quarter time, a goal apiece here in the second. Hobbs. It's away to the left.
Port need to be mindful of their inside 50s moving forward. It seems like Brisbane has dropped a +1, so lowering the eyes becomes more crucial.
Tom Duday. It's going to be a mark. Well done to Hawkins, the late inclusion for the Borough. Former Swans Academy member. Sends it to a dangerous position. Fantastic grab taken by Rudd. And lifted here in the second, Port Melbourne, this for the lead.
Really dangerous entry there to be able to, it didn't blaze away to the top of the goal square and give the opportunity to spoil the ball through. It's 20 out directly in front. Nice piece of body work. Ended up getting that to a 1v1 in the end.
Just 19 years of age. Michael Rudd, in he comes, no angle to speak of. And he gets the desired result. And the Borough back in front.
Just a really evenly poised game at the moment. Statistically, it's fairly even across the board. Port Melbourne making a little bit more of their opportunities this quarter than Brisbane did in the first, but the contest is going really well for both sides. Brisbane trying to use the ball and keep it in their hands over this quarter to try and keep it away from Port, but they're doing a reasonable job inside 50 at the moment.
And they get around him on the bench. Michael Rudd, just his 4th game, straight on the headset as well to have a chat to the coaches. 4th game of VFL. Made his VFL debut for Carlton back in 2024. Played 1 game that year. Now finds himself at Port Melbourne. A handy goal in this contest. The 3rd lead change we've had so far this morning. As the sun starts to peek through the clouds. Brisbane go forward. Port well set in defence. Graham. Wobbly kick off the boot. Just going to work out. Stubbings in space at half-back. To the wing. Hobbs. Wants to use the corridor. To Hurd. Continues to rack them up. This will be disposal number 15. Kick over the head of Rankin. Murphy caught. It's high contact.
It's been the one thing to let Tom Hurd down today. His kicking efficiency is at 25% from his 8 kicks, but racking them up, as you said, he's the 15 disposals, 5 clearances, 6 contested possessions, so doing it well in the contest.
Kick to the wingers off hands. Port Melbourne win out. Gann. Hurd. A kick smothered off the boot. Good pressure by McCarthy. Waller. McCarthy at the bottom of the pack. Umpire crosses his arms.
He's also been smothered 3 times today, Hurd. So to your point, his kicking efficiency is the only thing in his game right now that's letting him down, but now he's up to the 16 disposals.
Long kick forward from Curtin, who's lurking for Brisbane. Moore takes possession, tackled. A little bit of push and shove. Stoppage deep in attack for the Borough. Can they work their way through? The umpires found a free kick holding the ball. Brisbane's free. James Van Ness, one of 10 former AFL listed players out there for Port Melbourne this morning.
Yeah, Doc, you spoke about when you're kicking against the breeze. Brisbane might need to look to run and gun and use their hands running ways, especially when they've been able to extract that +1 behind the footy. They've got to run and gun against this breeze at the moment. Port Melbourne playing the conditions a lot better, lowering their eyes as they've entered inside 50 in this 2nd quarter.
Yeah, especially when you've got that +1, your numbers behind the ball. So your 2 options are you kind of shut up shop and chip around and hold on to the ball. But if you want to get the ball going forward, you have to use it along the way. So you have to keep that runner with you to be able to get your entries, and you can't blaze away to the number that's on the other side.
Clubs head over the footy, and you've got some high contact along the way.
Bit of emotion in this game at the moment, the last couple of minutes.
It's definitely increased.
Certainly a crucial game for both these sides. Just 1 win each to their name heading into round 5. Brisbane got on the winners list for the first time last week with a 38-point win over Casey. Port Melbourne, their only win came in round 1 against Sandringham. They've dropped their last 3. They're keen to get back on the winners list. Lions leading the tackle count 40-21. Particularly in their 2nd quarter. Port Melbourne 2 goals to 1 though. They've wrestled back the lead.
Look at the numbers around this stoppage. You can definitely see Brisbane just want to shut it down. They're happy to play a contested style in this quarter, where Port Melbourne need to open up this stoppage, so allow themselves to get some handball receives and someone out in space to be able to get the flow on the game.
You're right, Bon. You want to be able to make this game as open as possible from the Port Melbourne side, so that even if you go down at clearance, you can slingshot off the back of it. So interesting coaching decisions off the back of whether you have the wind or you don't.
Got a conference here between the umpires. The result is going to be a ball in.
Yeah, great call, Bonnie. It's a genuine scrap down here at ground level at the moment. Not pretty footy at all. Hopefully this game can open up.
You need to get some advice from the sidelines, Tom, I think.
Well, I didn't mind the scrap. I'd prefer it to be a contested style and open, free-flowing. That's where Doc and you come into your own.
Rocky was happy heading the trough in the wetter it got.
Probably the only one praying for some rain, I think. It's Tom Rockcliffe on the boundary. So it goes out of play to be last disposal, free kick. Hawkins inboard. Another touch coming up for Hurd. Can't put his teammate under pressure. It's knocked down to ground level by Joyce. Hobbs feeds it out. Hand pass missed Rankin. Hayes to Brain. To Beacon. Closing effort from Stubbings. Just continuing to apply the pressure. Lloyd. Down the line, close to the boundary line. It's kept alive by Bedendo. George tried the underground hand pass. Didn't quite come off. And we've got a ball up.
Like the intent from Port Melbourne off half-back there. Now, I know it's risky. They're putting the ball into the corridor. But when you've got the advantage of the wind, some of those contests are actually quite good. It gives you the opportunity to get inside 50 and you can still defend off the back of it.
Hayes, a scrappy kick around the corner. Hawkins holding the ball. Curtis McCarthy to send Brisbane into attack. Under pressure with the kick. It's caused a turnover. Bedendo. Stubbings. He's also under pressure. Strong grab taken and Port Melbourne are away. Hobbs into the pocket. Lines with the numbers. It gets out the back. And will wobble over the line for a minor.
Good ball movement, but another poor kick inside 50 costs them the opportunity to goal there.
Good build up here from Brisbane. Got a mark at centre half forward through Kobe Evans, the 18-year-old out of Perth, picked 38 in last year's draft. Great work from Hawkins, back with the flight to halve the contest and followed up with a tackle on Curtin. He's brought to ground. Cody Curtin, a good long-term prospect for Brisbane. His first year on the list. Out of Claremont in the Waffle. Good size for an 18-year-old. Grant front position in ruck. It's close to the line to be over and out. 200 centimetres, Cody Curtin, at 18 years of age.
He's a big boy.
He's 18 years old.
Both teams not executing the money kick. We speak about the money kick. There's two important kicks in AFL footy. The one inside 50 and then the shot on goal. And both teams not executing well at all with their delivery inside 50.
This game yet to reach any great heights at the moment, but it's remained tight throughout. Hobbs squeezes a kick forward, but it's going to be a turnover. Beacon.
Been told to take his time and take a shot here, but I don't think he'll be making anywhere near the distance.
And his AFL debut around 23 last year. To the teeth of goal. Sam Grant. Sticky hands.
Well, to Tom's point, the money kick, that was a bit of a nothing kick in the end, really. It was pretty stagnant by Brisbane's forward line as well. There was no clear option or someone coming forward through to meet the footy anywhere. So it's some more movement, a little bit too stagnant inside 50 Brisbane at the moment.
That kick felt like a defensive kick inside 50. It was almost trying to make sure that Port Melbourne couldn't transition off the back of it, kick it to the pocket. You get the opportunity, even if you turn it over, they're on one half of the ground or they get a stoppage.
Long bomb inside forward 50. Rankin at the fall of the ball, but he's tackled by Fergus McFadgen, the younger brother of former Lion Connor. We've got another one out there. Burst onto the VFL scene last year, did Fergus. He had a great season, 37 goals in 19 VFL games. Another product of the Lions Academy.
Downey being quiet today. We spoke about him pre-match after a big week last week, but the 4 disposals today.
Rankin with a nice fend off. Campbell, not the greatest. Bedendo there's clean, there to mop it up. Downey, quick hands to Rankin. The kick to George. He's got a couple to beat. Brain will get there first for Brisbane. Just gets the handball away to McLaughlin. It's a neat kick to set up Hayes. Another one of the 2025 draftees out there. Torrent down the line. Fazaldine's kick up to a contest. It's kept alive by McFadden. Hayes, they continue to work it out, but then the turnover comes to Hurd. What can Port Melbourne generate off half-back? Tovey, one way then the other. Jams it on the boot. Lines with the numbers.
They need to think their way through their ball movement a little bit at the moment. With Brisbane's +1 behind the footy, there needs to be movement by those ahead of the football, but then also the decision-making with the ball carrier needs to be better.
The challenge with Port Melbourne's style is their run and gun and handball receive, so they're stuck in their style, but that style's rolling into a +1 at the moment, as you spoke about. So being able to lower your eyes or shift the ball offline is going to be really important, or ultimately you have to try and draw that +1 up. So if you go with too much speed, you're actually fueling into what Brisbane want.
Rossman to Downey. Clark in space at half forward. This is the kick. Sends it to Rudd, knocked away from him, but stays alive for Port Melbourne. Ballwood, Tovey crashes hard into Joyce. And he's got himself a free kick for high contact.
Exactly what we're talking about there. And I think it was Downey on the way out, able to lower his eyes, and then Clark with his kick inside 50 lowers his eyes. You could see on the screen, if you looked up, if you kicked that long, it was straight to their +1. So good positioning by the Brisbane players, but equally as good offensive play by Port Melbourne. Opportunistic goal here with the free kick, but just in terms of the style of the game and how you need to play this sort of coaching move and tactical battle, that's what you need to do.
For a new game-high lead to Port Melbourne, Tovey comes in and he slots his second.
He's had 3 of his shots in the same spot, and he absolutely drills that one. What I loved in that play also earlier was that the forward was coming at the ball carrier. It was a clear option for the kicker to lower their eyes, almost taking the decision away from the ball kick from Clark there and just being like, no, I'm coming at you, kick it to me out in front. But then they were able to stay alive. Look at your big man on the ground being able to get handball receives. And yes, it was an opportunistic free kick there, but you got to take the opportunities when they come and execute it.
Yeah, quite remarkable down here at ground level. It's probably lucky there's no interchange to it. Rossman coming from the ground, Rankin just ran on before he was about 20 metres from the interchange, guys. It was quite incredible. Didn't affect the play at all, but Port Melbourne had 19 on there for a space of about 7 or 8 seconds.
Flirting with danger, it seems like. Oh, that happened once in a NEFL grand final. On the same day, I think it happened in a Sanford grand final.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember the Sanford one. It nearly went to a lawsuit, didn't it?
It did, yep. Early that day happened in the NEFL, but scores weren't reset or anything. But halftime here at Brighton Homes Arena. And it is a strong second quarter to the Borough. They trailed by 5 points at quarter time. Now they have an 11-point advantage thanks to 3 goals to 1. Brisbane kicked the first goal of the second quarter to make it an 11-point lead. But a great response from the Borough, searching for their second win of the season. They lead by 11 points at halftime. Tom Hurd's had 20 disposals in the first half for Port Melbourne, including 7 tackles as well. Josh Tovey was excellent in that second quarter. 2 goals, 1, all coming in that second quarter alongside his 6 disposals. And for Brisbane, Dara Joyce doing it all in defence, 16 disposals for him and 3 inside 50s as well. As we head to ground level to Tom Rockcliffe.
Yeah, down here with Tom Hurd. Really impressive first half. Tricky conditions, though.
Yeah, pretty windy. But, yeah, I think sort of just means that the contest is really important, keeping in tight, just sort of giving them a scrap all day and sort of nullifying the influence that wind can have on our game plan.
What changed in that second quarter? You obviously ball movement wise.
I think sort of came out pretty hot that first 10 minutes. And, yeah, we're a little bit frantic, but as we ease into the game, sort of slowed it down a little bit. And just, yeah, off the back of that contest work, just had that opportunity, I guess, to bounce off it and take the ball a bit more through the corridor and a bit more composed.
Good luck for the second half.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you to the Toms downstairs. Tom Rockcliffe with Tom Hurd, who's had 20 disposals in an opening half. Port Melbourne with the advantage at the main break by 11 points. Don't go anywhere. We've got our two captains, Bonnie Toogood and Sam Doherty, to break down the first half when we return from the break. Welcome back to the Sunday Ticket on Fox Footy. Halftime in VFL action at Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield. Port Melbourne taking on the Brisbane Lions. And it is the Borough with the advantage at halftime, thanks to 2 goals in that second quarter to Josh Tovey. They lead by 11 points. 5-4-34 plays 3-5-23. Jess Webster with you alongside Essendon's AFLW captain Bonnie Toogood and former Lion and Carlton captain Sam Doherty in commentary this afternoon as we take a look at some of the halftime highlights. It hasn't been the prettiest game of football that we've witnessed this morning. Brisbane by 5 points at quarter time. Port Melbourne shifted the momentum in the second, but they started to get reward for effort, Port Melbourne, in that second quarter.
They definitely did, and it started with Tom Hurd. His work inside the contest to be able to get his other midfielders in good handball receive positions, and then they just started, that's their game today, just that handball receive, that forward handball movement to gain territory, and they really did. As I said in the first half, they stemmed the tide of Brisbane's scoring.
Yeah, they did a good job in clearance that quarter, which it's kind of plays that territory game across the first 2 quarters. The team that's had the win has actually also won the clearance battle, which is helping their ability to get the ball in their half. But the difference in the game is just off turnover, really. Port Melbourne just a little bit better and a little bit more efficient in terms of when they're turning the ball over and getting shots on. So they've scored 3 goals, 3 compared to Brisbane's 1 goal, 3. And that's kind of the difference of the first half in the end.
Brisbane's strength at the moment, their defence, the likes of Darragh Joyce, Liam Jones with their experience, really holding things up for them at the moment. Darragh Joyce leading the way with 16 disposals in the first half. Yeah,
and as we spoke about a little bit on the call, the experience down there is significant in their tall defenders. They've had the 11 intercept marks compared to 6.
Sorry, Doc. Tom Hurts had a wonderful first half as well. 20 disposals, 7 tackles for him. Could probably clean up a little bit of his disposal, but he's racking them up at will.
He definitely is racking them up. And as I said, he's linking up with Hobbs really well and Rankin, and they're able to generate this forward momentum out of the stoppage. And Doc alluded earlier that clearance is so important today, particularly because it's a tight contest due to the conditions. And we're right now able to have a little listen in, actually, here, Jess.
Quite intimate scenes here at Brighton Homes Arena as we take you to the break. At Brisbane trying to make it 2 wins in a row this afternoon. Port Melbourne want their first win since round 1. We have a massive second half coming up after the break. Stay with us. The third term not too far away. Half-time VFL action at Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield this morning. The Brisbane Lions led at quarter-time against Port Melbourne by 5 points, but the Borough flipped the script in the second. They kicked 3-1 to take an 11-point lead into the main break. Both these sides desperate to get on the winners list this afternoon with just one win apiece so far in the 2026 VFL season. Jess Webster with you alongside Bonnie Toogood and Sam Doherty. Charlie Offermans in the first half provided a few highlights for the Lions. 12 disposals, 7 tackles and a goal. A storied basketball and football career for him. Spent a few years in the States playing college basketball. He's a Quaffle Premiership player with Redland and an NTFL Premiership player with St Mary's as well. Now applying his trade with Brisbane in the VFL. But they're getting some good things out of one of their top-ups this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been excellent today in that contest. Sort of, we've spoken about it a bit, but their ability in that second quarter to play contested footy. He's had the 9 contested possessions and 7 tackles, so his work in tight's been outstanding. And off the back of the AFL listed players that are in there, but he's going really well.
Born in Townsville, came through the Suns Academy. He's been a little bit everywhere. And coming up on the Sunday ticket, a massive Sunday of footy on Fox Footy as Anzac Round continues. Next, we're going to take you to Marvel Stadium. St Kilda hosting the West Coast Eagles under the roof at Marvel. And then Brisbane taking on the Crows at the Gabba. That's a massive game this afternoon before the Giants hosting an in-form North Melbourne. 5th on the ladder are the Roos in the nation's capital at Manuka Oval. Taking you to the break now. Coming up, we've got a huge second half in this VFL game. Brisbane taking on Port Melbourne. We'll see you for the third quarter next. Half-time in Springfield, VFL Round 5 action. Brisbane Lions taking on Port Melbourne, who lead this contest by 11 points at half-time. Tom Herb with 20 disposals in that first half. 2 goals to Josh Tovey for Port, singles to the Lions, with Darragh Joyce leading the way with 16 disposals in the first half for Brisbane. Jess Webster with you alongside Bonnie Toogood, Sam Doherty and former Lions captain, All-Australian and best and fairest Tom Rockcliffe on the boundary for us this morning. Tom, what have you noticed in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a scrappy affair, hasn't it? No great skill level, high level of skills or anything like that. It's just going to be who's willing to win those contests in this second half as the wind continues to pick up and there are added showers around. But it's just going to be who can win that contest and then deliver the footy inside 50. So Brisbane will be disappointed they didn't take their opportunities in that first quarter. So they'll look to lower their eyes inside 50. And for Port Melbourne, it's just how they can defend in this third quarter against the breeze.
Are the conditions getting any better down there, Rocky, or is it just windy as it was at the start of the day? I know the weather, the rain is holding off for you.
Yeah, the rain certainly held off, and we may get some scattered showers in this second half, but the wind picked up. It's not left to screen, but also to the broadcast side as well. So
hopefully the rain does hold up for us in the second half, because it is an important one for these two sides as they aim to get back on the winners list this morning. Let's take a little closer look at Darragh Joyce, his highlights from the first half. 29 years of age, 32 disposals, 16 marks last week. And he's been in and out of the AFL side. Didn't play an AFL game last year. The most games he's played at AFL level in a single season was 6 back in 2024. But he continues to really perform at VFL level.
Yeah, he does. And he's one of the higher AFL experienced players out there today, and we've spoken a bit about their key defenders. That's been a big part of why Brisbane are in the game, and as you said, the 16 disposals, his kicking efficiency is going at 85%, so he's using it well in the conditions, but it's ultimately they're going to need a little bit more from those guys from the second half. He's probably holding his hand up pretty well, but they're going to need more from that in the second half.
So if you had to make one change for Brisbane, Bonnie, in the second half, whether it's a positional change or if you were the coach on the whiteboard at this halftime address, what would be the number one thing that you're screaming at your players?
I think now that they've got the wind, I think we've spoken about it multiple times, is lowering their eyes, and the money kick inside 50, as Tom liked to say, is going to be so important, particularly in this third term for them. They need to make the most of the advantage with the wind, and in the first quarter they weren't able to execute goals. They kicked more points, so they'd like to turn that around.
No, I think, and off the back of that, the ability to open the game up. I think when you've got the wind, trying to open the game up. We spoke about the back end of that quarter, how they were closing the game down in terms of their contest. I think it's the reverse of that now. Try and open up the contest, open up the stoppages, see if you can get some free flow in the game and force Port Melbourne to play a game they don't want to play into the wind.
Plenty of competition for spots in this Brisbane Lions side, so it's a big second half for these players to try and stake their claim to potentially get an AFL opportunity.
On the Port Melbourne side, the handball game comes straight back into it now. Into the wind, how can they use that number and roll forward as a group? And as we have spoken about a lot, lower your odds inside 50. You don't want to blaze away. In the first quarter, they had a lot of intercept marks from Jones and Darragh Joyce and Duday. So being able to try and stay away from those guys and lower their eyes inside 50 would be important.
One win against Sandringham in round 1 for Port Melbourne. Dropped their last 3, including a 73-point loss to Box Hill last week. And they've got a handy advantage here at halftime by 11 points. Can they continue with it and get a valuable win on the board? Here we go, third quarter underway in Springfield. Spark up against Waller and Ruck. Torrent chasing after it, couldn't take the footy with him. Marshall tackled into the turf, just a little too aggressively from Hobbs. He's given away the free kick.
Definitely there, dangerous tackle, slung it onto his shoulder.
Marshall, such an interesting prospect for Brisbane, the 20-year-old. Played in their premiership last year. 11 games, including all 4 finals, and just can't quite get his spot back in the AFL lineup. That's how strong it is. Bedendo gets himself a free kick. Kicks out wide, Waller with a fist, out of play.
Really intrigued to see how Port play this quarter. We saw Brisbane in the second employ a +1. Port still need to attack, and I think that took away from Brisbane's attack and offence in the last quarter. So whether they pull a +1 just to have a bit more defence with this breeze. Keen to see the tactical plays that come out.
Clark to Hobbs from the stoppage up to half forward. No mark. Marshall was there for the Brisbane to give it to Lloyd. Had a bit of a fumble. Tackled Polkinghorne. Ball comes free to Clark. Handball over his head was good, but it was well read by Aberley. He breaks it up and sends it out of bounds.
Just saw at the last stoppage, their wingers did like a flip behind the stoppage. They rolled over, trying to get a bit of movement, a bit of misdirection inside the contest. As we spoke about earlier, being able to get the ball on the outside is going to be so important for them.
Grant front position, straight down to Beacon. Handballs to space. We've got another stoppage. Seen a lot of this in this match so far. Hasn't quite opened up. Margin hasn't gone beyond 11 points all game. Murphy gets a kick away for Brisbane. High up and under. And we're going to have another ball up.
It's been a little bit of a trend of the game. The first 5 minutes of each quarter has been this stalemate of high numbers around the contest, each team sussing each other out of who's going to get into the free-flowing game of footy first.
Clark, a hurry kick forward. Wobbling ball inside 50 for Port. Duday in front position, tackled by George. Can you see Tom Duday earning his spot back in the Lions AFL side?
Yeah, I can. He's got to get back to his best, definitely, but he's a really smart player that intercepts the ball well and positions himself well as a defender. But there's, as you said, there's a premiership team. It's not exactly easy to get into the side, but just needs to stack some good form at VFL level, and I think he can get back in.
83 games of AFL experience. Tom Duday played one game for Brisbane last year in round 22, but then had a wrist injury. So we know his history battles, a couple of ACLs as well. Came across from Adelaide a couple of seasons ago. Grant pumps it down. Hobbs keeps it alive. Morrison, Clark, back and board by hand. Polkinghorne. There's a whistle on play for high. Port Melbourne's free kick. To Riley Polkinghorne, the 24-year-old, joined Port last year. Two-time North Ballarat best and fairest winner. Jones. Bedendo. Back to Polkinghorne. Another big pack forms, and Ian Jones from the side. Great mark.
It's the exact entries that we were talking about earlier. You don't want to blaze away with these defenders down there at the moment. You have to lower your eyes inside 50 if you're Port Melbourne.
Liam Jones's eyes light up when he sees a kick like that come in forward 50.
It's the one thing when he turned defender at Carlton, having someone on him versus him being able to just have a run and jump and free go at the footy, he absolutely loved it.
You'd love to be a young forward today playing on him. He as a forward, he almost will take you to the football just because he's got so much experience, and he reads and reacts to the football so quickly.
Joined the club this year as a development coach and VFL assistant coach, Liam Jones. Enjoying his new life.
Good grab.
Great grab. Up forward, Cody Curtin.
It almost seemed like there were people around, but it was almost an uncontested mark in the middle of that pack.
As we see on the replay, just stands underneath it. Probably not enough body work, really, when he's 204 centimetres. I think you said earlier, Jess. To be able to let someone like that have a free run and jump at the ball, no one's going to get near it. So you've got to put a bit more body work in so that he can't take that almost uncontested grab there.
I think we're going to enjoy seeing the growth of this young man, the 18-year-old, pick 43 in last year's draft. Cody Curtin. He misses. 200 centimetres at 18 years of age. He's a very, very handy long-term prospect for Brisbane. If he chooses to stick around, he's a WA product. His brother Dan's at Adelaide. Rankin to the broadcast wing. Jones again. Loves a contest like that.
Huge defensive fist over the boundary line. It's just such a clear way that, and we've mentioned it before, but it's such a clear way that Port Melbourne want to play. They're over +20 in handball receives, and they just want to get the game moving, that run and gun, break the lines to catch Liam Jones off guard. But at the moment, he's playing and he's reading it like no other.
Maybe he's got one eye in the mid-season draft, maybe, if he just hangs around long enough, plays enough decent footy.
Well, you never know what happens in footy. If someone happened to go down in the Brisbane side, it's called tall defender, you never know. Unlikely, but you never know.
Does have Tom Duday as well. Tara Joyce. You were ahead of him, but...
Gallop at senior level.
Yep.
Harris Andrews plus Ryan Lester. So there's a few.
Hasn't that been a great positional switch up? Ty Gallop back in defence.
Yeah, and we're speaking about how Duday gets back in the side. The two that he's behind are Ryan Lester and Ty Gallop, and they're both looking really, really solid at AFL level. Ryan Lester, sort of the journeyman of the Brisbane Lions, but such an important player for them.
Surviving on one-year deals for how long now, Ryan Lester?
Oh, I think it'd been almost 10 years, I would have thought.
It's a great story. Clark, his kick to Baldwin was good, just through his hands. Turns tackler on Jones. Dendo brought to ground. It's a free kick, in fact. Flare it out wide to Morrison. Short, just the required distance to Hobbs. Still searching for our first goal in this third quarter. Just the one behind at Brisbane so far. Hobbs to a contest, and as they've done for the majority of the morning, Brisbane is well set in defence, and they've cut off a lot of these forward forays. This time it's Dylan Smith with the intercept grab.
It's almost at the stage where you'd rather just kick it short to a 50-50. I was watching Port Adelaide the other week. When they just refused to kick it long down the line, they'd kick it 20 metres to a 1v1 and they'd take that. It's almost what they should do now.
Curtin's worked hard up the wing. His kick almost a turnover. Hawkins couldn't complete the grab. Coming through McCarthy, couldn't do much with it. Rankin caught high. Lachie Rankin, one of 10 former AFL listed players out there. Gets a handball away. Torrent keeps it alive. Strong tackle by Tovey on Hayes, rather. Have a few words as well.
Torrent up to the 16 disposals, so continuing his form from last week, the 6 clearances on that and 8 tackles, so been very good in the contest.
So the rain's holding off for just the moment here at Springfield, but quite windy, blustery conditions up north this morning. Whistle on play, free kick for a hold, Brisbane's way. Cole Dunkley off to Shadow Brain. Long search and kick into the pocket. McLaughlin had a few to beat. He did well to halve the contest. Port Melbourne, though, with the numbers. Gann streaming out of defence. It's punched out of play.
It's easy as a forward when you know you've got the wind to lead in the back space a lot, because you're like, oh, I just want to, we know we've got the wind, I can get it over the back a little bit, but still needing to come and hit up at the football and making that assertive, strong lead to lower the eyes, and so you're not allowing the ball carrier just blaze away and try, hope and kick it over the back.
Heard up to half forward, it's a good kick. Out to meet at Manton. Sends it to a one-on-one. Baldwin against Joyce. Ball gets out to Clark. Snaps towards the teeth of goal. It's knocked through.
Archie Manton's first touch of the game, son of Glenn Manton, ex-Carlton player. So we told you we'd keep you up to date as we go with the sons and brothers of. So just interesting also on the first touch of the quarter from Tom Hurd, had 20 in the first half, and it's been a bit quiet to start this third term.
It'll be 50. Kyle Dunkley will be marched into the centre square. Keen to move it on quickly. Wobbly kick off the boot. And that's going to be a mark up forward on Ty Hayes. One of the 3 2025 draftees out there this morning for Brisbane, taken with pick 44. Applied his trade with Burleigh before crossing to Southport, where he played VFL last year.
Same with this wind, you want to kick it outside the right-hand post. That should swing back towards goal, but should be able to comfortably make the distance.
Two goals in his 3 games so far in season 2026. Ty Hayes, kick is on its way, and it holds its line. And Brisbane hit back in the 3rd.
Definitely what they needed to make the most of this advantage, but it was almost a opportunistic mark in the end. He was the only one that really read it better and was coming back with the flight of the ball and was able to juggle it and then steady himself, and as you said, Doc, gave great advice: hang it out to the right and let the wind do the rest.
Some poor attempt of the mark down in D50. They'd have pinned top of the goal square, give away 50 metres, and then I think it was Dunkley was able to play on from that as well, so got even further territory of it. And as you said, a good mark inside 50, but defensively you've got to be more switched on than that from Port Melbourne. You don't want to be giving up territory when you're against the wind as it is that easily.
Yeah, for the Lions, you'd like to see a lift out of Sam Marshall, get on the move around these stoppages. He's only had the 8 disposals, but he can really lift for the Brisbane Lions and stake his claim to get back into that senior team.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. He's lurking around this ball up at the moment. And they do emerge with it, Brisbane. Flying shot towards goal is going to be out of bounds from McCarthy. Sam Marshall, 20 years of age, 11 games last year, including the premiership, of course. Pick 25 back in 2024. Sandringham Dragons product. Had 28 disposals last week in their win against Casey. Torrent. McCarthy. Flying handball. Van Ness deep in defence for the Borough. And it's going to be a free kick for holding the ball. I think it is. And the advantage is paid, and the goal's been kicked by Brisbane.
Oh, wow, that just happened so quickly, didn't it? I'd love to watch that
Fazeldine with a goal in the end. Let's take another look on replay. Bonnie, talk us through it.
Oh, well, I thought he got a hand to it. Maybe the prior was gone as soon as he did the evade, but I thought...
It shouldn't have been play on it. He'd stopped then completely, and then the Port Melbourne player, because it was a free kick, he stopped, he let him go, and then he decided he was going to roll in off the back of it. Probably would have been a goal either way, but interesting umpire call there. I would have argued that he at least got a hand on it, but that's the great game of AFL footy, isn't it? Sometimes the rules have some grey in them, to say the least.
It's been a bit of grey, I think, in holding the ball. Adjudication, I think, over the weekend that we might have seen across all levels, but the goal stands, and Brisbane are back in front by a point. 4th lead change of the afternoon. They've won the clearance again. Driving kick forward. It's a good mark in defence by Graham. Morrison. Sends it out wide to a contest. Beacon hacks it off the deck. It'll go inside 450, but roll out of bounds.
Just saw Hobbs hobbling off the ground then. Not exactly sure what was going on, but when the play was going down one side, he was trudging to the bench like he was pretty sore.
Get Tommy Rockcliffe to be all over that. I think this might be a free kick for insufficient intent. So get a shot of Ben Hobbs on the bench. Get Tom to give us an update on that soon. Contest on the wing, Murphy. The Irishman hooks the kick around the corner. Diving effort's a solid one from Morrison.
gosh, the Irishmen just know how to, they hook the kick. It's so unorthodox, but it works, and they're able to get ball to boot really quickly.
19 years of age, Ben Murphy has come across from the other side of the world to try and have a crack at the AFL. It was Kerry's under-17 captain, and then played Gaelic footy for Austin Stacks. Played against Mark O'Connor in a final last year. Of course, he went back home and won a final for Dingley, I think it was. See, big contest up forward. A couple of players go to ground. Stubbings to Downey. Is this Port Melbourne's chance? Clark is on the end of it. Gets boot to ball, didn't quite get the purchase on the kick. Got a ball up at the top of the square.
Not desperate defence there.
Desperate defence, but not a bad result for Port. Just they've been dominating the territory battle in this first half of this quarter. So to be deep inside their forward 50, although it is about to come out through Liam Jones, as we've said a few times already today.
He's turned it over. A rare blemish for Liam Jones today as Gann hits up Polkinghorne.
Still not an easy kick, this one. I know it looks easy on the telecast, but with that breeze, it's we have seen them being held up in the air quite significantly, so big kick in the context of the game.
15 disposals so far for Riley Polkinghorne. Mr. Hen the lead back to the Borough, and he's got it.
Was able to punch the ball through the air pretty well there. Good finish. Really great instinctive play. I think it was from Gayan in the top of the 50 here. Jones, good pressure on that kick. Gets the intercept, but teammate in a better position straight away. Kicks it back to him. That's how you got to play. It's that, as you said, Bonnie, to be able to get the ball inside 50, have the stoppage there, put pressure on, build that pressure, and then be able to live off intercept. Down to you, Rock.
Yeah, Ben Hobbs been given the all clear. He just copped a boot on the shin just so it opened him up, but medicos have patched him up. He's back on his feet, ready to go.
It's good news, Tom, for Port Melbourne. They lost Tom Highmore in the warm-up to a calf injury, one of the more experienced players. Free kick going Polkinghorne's way. Chooses the lateral option in Graham. Takes on the man on the mark, gains a few extra metres, pumps it long again to a contest, a half forward. It gets out the back, but that's where Brisbane have the numbers. Joyce close to the boundary. Eventually goes out of bounds.
Brisbane just have such a solid defensive setup. They know who's flying, they know who's staying on the ground. They've got great balance around the contest as well, and able to just mop up pretty easily.
Grant Dunner-Clark dispossessed. Ball gets out to Polkinghorne, squeezes a kick forward, but no one's there but Brisbane. Oh, Murphy, he marked and then played on. Worked out in the end to Duday. Work it down the line, Hayes. Standing his ground was Aberley. Open forward 50 to work with. It's a wobbly old kick off the boot. Goes into the pocket. Curtin trying to keep it alive. Oh, the big fend off against Van Ness. Then he runs straight into him. Holding the ball. Tried a little bit too much in the end, did Cody Curtin.
Triple fend off.
Yeah.
Oh, look, when you're that size and that strong, you've got to try.
I've seen you give a couple of good fend offs, Bonnie, in AFLW.
Oh, I try my best, but it's not the natural part of my game. I want to try bring it in a little bit more.
I think you should. There's a few whistles going on. No one's quite sure what's happening. It's going to come back.
They called for everyone at home, they called a free kick for high contact, but it was both the Brisbane players in the contest.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
We're all human. We make mistakes sometimes.
it was two Brisbane players over one ground ball, and he hit his teammate in the head. Here's the replay of it here. 1-2, Brisbane. Free kick, Brisbane.
Free kick from that.
Hence everyone's confusion.
Okay.
Oh, awesome mark.
It's like when you take a specky over your own teammate, but you get them high.
I can't say too much. One day I was playing Collingwood, and I tackled Mark Murphy, thinking it was my opponent.
Did you win a free kick? Holding the
No,
ball?
I tackled him and then very quickly realised and had to let him go. But it did look awfully funny on the review during the week.
That happened to AFLW last season, I reckon, Bonnie.
I think it did.
Carlton? Yeah.
Must be something at Carlton, hey?
Yeah. We don't know what we're doing.
Torrent up to half forward.
There's a free out the back here.
McLaughlin sends it in that direction. Curtin from behind, no mark, out of bounds.
If I see Curtin free out in the back, I'm getting the ball to him as quickly as possible.
It's looking very lively the last few minutes, Curtin. Important 5 minutes here for Brisbane. You'd want to be going into the three-quarter time break with a couple of goal lead.
From the stoppage, Marshall to Torrent. Dances around his opponent. It's off hands. Oh, great pressure from the Borough defence. Saved a shot at goal. We've got a ball up. Penry up against Curtin and Ruck. Curtin scraps a kick forward. It's going to trickle out of play. Brisbane by 5 at quarter time. Port Melbourne by 11 at half time. Brisbane 2-1 so far in this second quarter. Port Melbourne holding on to a 5-point lead. From the stoppage, Graham hacks it out of the danger zone. Brain emerges with the footy. Umpire circles, puts the whistle away a little bit. George hands it off to Hobbs. Morrison, now Green. It's going to bounce close to the line and be kept alive by Rankin. Fends off his opponent and has a bounce. With confidence, takes another bounce. Over the top to Rudd. This might open things up for Port Melbourne. George from 50. It's going all the way to the goal line. Knocked through by Aberley.
Just needed a bit of composure. They worked that so well out of half back, used their hands well. Bit of run and dash from Rankin on the wing. Used their hands effectively, and then it's just that last kick inside 50.
It's definitely a weapon of the Port Melbourne side. If you were Brendan McCartney, you'd be pretty happy with this quarter. You've been kicking against the wind. Brisbane's only scored 2 goals. You've scored 1 goal. You'd be pretty happy going into the fourth and the game really being set up the way that he'd like going into the last term.
I believe in the inside 50 count, they're actually leading 11-8 this quarter, so showed that their method's working.
A turnover, Rudd over the top to Hurd. A quiet quarter. He had 20 disposals at half time. His 22nd disposal, so a quiet quarter for Tom Hurd, but this is a very important kick.
I said it would be tough to make the distance on the last kick, but I was wrong. This one's a little bit further out. We saw one in the first quarter that held up significantly from this part of the ground.
21 disposals, 7 tackles. Can he get a goal to his name? And it goes all the way. It's a 12-point lead now to the Borough. Their highest of the match so far.
He certainly had the journey. Port Melbourne have scored 34 points now off turnover, and it's a lot of them have been here in this part of the ground. It's at the top of the 50, and they're able to generate the turnover, lower the eyes, and find a target inside 50, and it's been now starting to be a bit of a weapon for them.
Yeah, and that's been the theme for the first half of the game. Bond, well spotted. Only the 1 goal for the Lions compared to the 5 goals for from Port Melbourne. It's not only their ability to punish off turnover, but create them as well. They've defended really well in terms of getting the ball in their half and keeping it there, and that little efficiencies inside 50, that's when they've looked most dangerous. When they've bombed away, to contest, that's where the key defenders from the Lions have dined out.
Timely captain's goal for Port Melbourne. Back in the middle we go. Torrent with the clearance. And he hits a target almost. Curtin just couldn't complete the mark. Volley's up at ground level, gets a handball away. McCarthy gets it in board. Evans over the top, back to Curtin. Hurd applying the pressure. Port Melbourne win out. Polkinghorne over the top, Rankin a little fumble. And he gets tackled and wrapped up by Evans. Umpire calls for a ball up.
He's been very dominant in this last quarter, to be honest, Rankin. But he spent it before he had it there.
He did, but the work rate for the Port Melbourne mids to get back and help there was outstanding.
Morrison over the top, and free kick for pushing the back. Free kick is going to go to McCarthy, is it? He'll line up for a shot at goal from 50 out. 28 years of age, joined Brisbane's VFL program last season. In a premiership at St Mary's in the Geelong Footy League back in 2018. Joins his brother Link in Brisbane colours. A booming kick towards goal, but it is across the face.
He has been important for them over the past 3 weeks, kicking 1 goal in round 4, 2 in round 3, and 3 in round 2. So he'd like to get his name on the scorecard today.
Oh, big contest. Waller and Jones involved. Neither could come down with the mark. Marshall head over the footy, couldn't extract it. George does, hands it off to Clark. Port Melbourne chain it up in the middle. Bedendo checks the kick, but right intent just didn't quite have the execution. Aberley's there at half back for Brisbane to clean it up. He finds Torrent. Sweeping hand pass out wide to Beacon. Elects to go backwards. They can start again from half back. Aberley to Moore. And then to Offmans. Strong first half. A little bit quiet here in the third.
Just the 4 disposals for Offmans in this quarter. Robbie Torrent leading the way with 9.
Contest to be won on the outer wing. Marshall to Beacon. Bullets are passed down the line. Kick smothered off the boot, comes up Port Melbourne's way. Polkinghorne into the centre. Look out, Jones comes through. Spoils it to ground. McCarthy holding the ball. On the 3/4 time siren. Almost a bit of a free kick there. But it is going to be 3/4 time here at Springfield. And we've set up for a cracking final quarter to come here. It is Port Melbourne by 11 points at the last break. 7-6-48 to Brisbane 5-7-37. Plenty of feeling in this one. And we've got a big final quarter to come. Stay with us. The last quarter coming up after the break. A windy day in Springfield today for this VFL clash between Brisbane and Port Melbourne. The Borough maintain their advantage in that third quarter. 2 goals to each side in that third term, and it is Port by 11 points at three-quarter time. Can they hold on and get their first win in the competition since round 1, or will Brisbane come back in the last to make it 2 consecutive wins in a row? Jess Webster with you alongside Essendon AFLW captain Bonnie Toogood and former Blues captain Sam Doherty in commentary this afternoon. A big final quarter to come, guys. So who needs to stand up for Brisbane? But before we get to that, let's take a look at Rankin's highlights for Port Melbourne, because he's had a great day so far for the Borough.
Yes, he definitely has, but he's also had a great third quarter, getting plenty of the football. He's up to 21 disposals in this game, 14 kicks, but it's been his ability to get involved in handball chains. We saw him streaming down the wing and then able to set up his forwards in really good positions. It's been really impressive day for him.
Yeah, it has, and 20 of his 21 disposals have come after clearances, so his ability to win the ball on the outside has been significant, and that's the way that Port Melbourne have been playing today. So he's been a big part of why they've been able to win the ball on the outside and be able to run and gun, as we see here on the screen. He's been a very influential player on the game.
Came out of the Oakley Chargers, was drafted to the Sydney Swans. Didn't quite get his opportunity AFL level. Was on the list for 2 years, couldn't get an AFL game, and then joined Port Melbourne back in 2024. But he's having a good day for the Borough at the moment. Tom Hurd still leading the way with 22 disposals for them, 7 tackles and a goal as well. But for Brisbane, Reece Torrent's doing some wonderful things in the midfield for them this morning. But who else needs to stand up?
I'm looking at Sam Marshall needing to stand up. He played a really great game last week. He had 28 disposals. Today he's only found the ball 12 times. He needs to get amongst it a little bit more and support Torrent, because at the moment, Port Melbourne's mids are kind of running rings around Brisbane's mids in this game.
Let's head down to Tom Rockcliffe.
Sorry, we're having a... Hey,
I might have talked too long at the break.
Talked too long at the break. It's been a really arm wrestle this game so far. Do you want to keep it that way or open it up in the last?
That's how we play. We play from the contest out, and yeah, this Brisbane team, they're really well schooled and educated, had it open in the ground up and make you chase hard defensively. So we want to play a good balance of contest, offence, defence, and they've been really good, but we've got to keep going now.
Good luck for the last quarter.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Sorry, mate.
Thanks.
Thanks to Port Melbourne coach Brendan McCartney for us downstairs with Tom Rockcliffe. So a big final quarter to come here at Brighton Homes Arena.
Just to further that comment around Sam Marshall, we were talking about the outside game of Rankin. Only 5 of his disposals, only 5 of Marshall's disposals have come after the clearances. So it's that ball on the outside for him that's the one that's costing him. His 7 disposals pre-clearance, which is a good healthy number, which the Brisbane players are going quite well on the inside of the contest. But it's that spread on the outside to be able to get that outside ball that Port Melbourne have been on top.
Final quarter underway. Waller against Grant and Ruck, down to Marshall, the man we were just speaking of, to Torrent. Skies the kick to half forward, but it's going to be intercepted by Gann. Inboard to Hurd. Lions by 5 points at quarter time. Port Melbourne by 11 at the half and three-quarter time.
Great work rate from Hurd there. They lose the clearance, gets back inside 50 and is available for his back line.
Searching kick to the broadcast wing. Strong hands from Rudd. A couple of nice things today, the 19-year-old. Out of St Mary's in the AFL Barwon competition. Just his 4th game of VFL today. Kick down the line. It's through a few sets of hands. Hobbs sends the Borough forward. A one-on-one. Ryder up against Duday. Shares it with Joyce. Now Aberley, last line of defence for Brisbane. Good kick.
Really lucky there, the Brisbane Lions. They got outworked. It was a 3v1 and the one Appleby won, so very lucky.
Torrent coming up for disposal number 24, plus 11 tackles, 6 inside 50s, 7 clearances today. Hayes releases Marshall. Can he be the match winner for Brisbane? Long kick towards full forward, no mark in the end from McLaughlin. Van Ness swoops for the Borough.
Great play out of D50. Torrent risky, but they're going to make up a few goals here playing against this slight breeze that's there still. But we're asking for Marshall to get involved on the outside, and he's started well.
Grant scraps a kick forward. It's over the back, but again, Brisbane well set in defence. Duday, Murphy. Handball missed the target, opens the door for Stubbings to Hurd. Great kick inside the arc. They've got players out everywhere, but Dendo sends it into the pocket, and Clark is waiting. He can mark, play on, snap it around the corner. Port Melbourne draw first blood in the last.
Just poor offense causes poor defense. There's too many players trying to get involved in that chain on the way up the field to be involved in a slight turnover, and then you could have raffled that one off inside 50, 4v1 almost inside 50, and nice little finish there by Clark. Had a reasonable day himself. 16 disposals he's up for, and to add that goal to it.
He's been very lively. When the ball has been around him, he's been very energetic, combative, and getting himself involved.
He's another son of his father, Jason's a club legend at Port Melbourne.
Great start to this quarter by Hurd as well. It's just his work rate to get sort of between the arcs has been outstanding to watch.
Free kick to Brisbane out of the middle. Waller, the Lions Academy product, sends it long. Van Ness out the back. Rossman under a bit of pressure. Van Ness, handball over his head. It's knocked out of bounds.
Because of Hurd's work rate, he finds himself in great release options for his teammates who are under pressure, and that's how he's been accumulating his possessions today, is just through sheer work rate.
That's how he plays. He plays that sort of outside midfielder that uses his tank to be able to get back and support his defence, and often the release kick from D50 or the release handball from contest.
Reigning best and fairest winner at the Borough, and captain as well, Tom Hurd. Rankin from the stoppage. Kicks to space on the wing. And they needed to touch it before it went out of play, and Bedendo did just that.
What is James Hurd's role at Port Melbourne, Jess?
Director of coaching.
Director of coaching. A bit of a blend of Essendon players in ex-Essendon names there. Alessio, part of the team as well. Son of Steve, of course. I think we've got everyone now. I think he might have been the last one that I had to mention.
Waller in front position, and Ruck, I think he's got himself a free. 19 years of age, 204 centimetres. Another whistle up forward for Brisbane and a free kick. So here's their opportunity.
And it's Liam Jones who has the football. So they've flipped the magnets, the Brisbane coaching staff, and we see Liam Jones, an incredible defender, is now taking a shot because he's playing up forward.
Well, you've got to win the game of footy now. So some of the entries, if you're bombing inside 50, there's a man you can put down there that can take a jump and grab.
He's played VFL at times throughout his AFL career. I don't think he's ever kicked a goal in the VFL. This might be a nice little moment here for Liam Jones. And he slots it. Defender turn forward.
We love to see it, and I think it's such a great coaching move. His ability to read and react to the football is elite. And now he's just going to bring that ahead of the footy, which is awesome.
Well, at a bare minimum, he's a big frame that you know if you give a run and jump at the ball, then he's going to cause some hazards. So that's the panic of a defender that knows that that's happening. He's trying to keep him from running and jumping at the contest. And a great finish. Keeps this game right in the balance. But smart coaching. You need to win a game of footy. He's one of your biggest assets in the team in terms of ability to win contests and influence the game. Had the 5 intercept marks behind the ball. Now he's going to go try and win it down the other end.
Back to an 11-point margin. Borough win the clearance out of the middle. George roaming half forward. Hooks the kick around the corner. To full forward, plenty of numbers there. Brisbane again in defence, although Joyce had a fumble. Murphy was tackled without it, maybe. And it's rushed through.
Probably should have been a free kick for the Lions there.
Lloyd into the pocket. Joyce. 24 disposals for him this afternoon in defence.
Well, when you've got Joyce playing like he's playing, you have the luxury to be able to flip Liam Jones ahead of the football.
Basildeen's kick to a contest. Strong hands from Waller.
Waller probably benefits off the back of it as well.
Conditions are improved down here. The wind's dropped right away, so it's not necessarily that big of a margin for the Brisbane Lions to get back into this one. Sun's shining as well.
Good to hear, Tom, and hopefully things might open up here in this last quarter. Looks like a beautiful day in Brisbane.
Be good for everyone if the game did open up.
Tough old arm wrestle. But a good tactical battle to watch unfold as Hobbs scraps a kick forward. Joyce in front position. He's tackled, going nowhere.
I think you can expect some open free-flowing footy because both teams need to win this, and they're both in contention.
Absolutely. It's 2 goals the difference now. Which is the biggest lead that it's... No, I lie. It was 17 points earlier in the quarter when Clark kicked a goal. Penry up against Waller and Ruck. Stubbings gets a kick forward. Penry the Ruck. Squeezes a kick forward. Coming through Hobbs, going to take the footy with him. Offman's head over the footy likewise. Tovey swoops, sends it towards goal. It's missing.
Be interesting to see at what point of the game do Brisbane sort of shift away from the kick mark game and start to really open the game up in terms of handball receives. We've seen the contrasting styles between the two throughout the day, but as the game gets further and further into it, how can you expose the 1v1s and the coaching move of putting Liam Jones down the forward line? How can you get there with a bit of speed?
Great contested grab from Baldwin. Oh, that's a great kick too, onto the chest of George.
There's the money kick. We've mentioned it multiple times today, and great ability for Baldwin to see that space and draw the player into the space, and it was a great kick lowering the eyes.
We don't have that stat with us, but I'm hesitant to say that if you lowered your eyes inside 50, you would have scored well today. I don't think we've seen too many scores from that long bomb kick inside 50.
Roy George has spent some time with Casey Demons in the VFL, joined Port midway through last season. From just inside the arc. It's not going to be a score. Well, it is going to be a score. It's going to be rushed through. I mean, it wasn't going to be a goal.
There's James Hurd on the screen.
I wonder if he gets nervous in his role as director of coaching, or maybe watching his son play.
Competitive instincts, I think, could take over. He certainly would.
I think you're right. They've got to mark through Tovey.
He's had a hot spot in this part of the ground.
He has had multiple shots here already today. But that was an unbelievable kick by Stubbing, just to be able to hook it around, find Tovey in a bit of space, as we can see on the replay here.
See if he can capitalise. 3 consecutive behinds now to the Borough. They've had their chances in this last quarter. This to push it out to a handy lead now, and he's got it. Tovey's got 3 goals for the afternoon. Port Melbourne with a new game-high lead of 20 points.
He had the one-sider from that spot where he cannoned into the post, and then every single other one he's just kicked in the absolute perfect spot with the breeze to bring it slightly back each time. But we've spoken about it a few times, but that ability to punish off turnover for Port Melbourne has been arguably the difference in the game. They've now kicked 7 goals 5 to 1 goals 4, so they're winning that by 37 points. So the difference in the game, the difference of the two teams in terms of the class of once turning that ball over to be able to execute back inside 50 and get the score.
He's putting together a great season, Josh Tovey. It's now his 8th goal. Back-to-back weeks now, he's kicked 3 goals. And still just 20 years of age. Hurd scraps a kick forward. George out to meet it. Almost lost his feet in the end to Grant. Wobbles a kick to half forward. It's Tovey again, this time doing the defensive work. McCarthy stripped of the footy, no free kick. Tovey goes in. Lloyd, high contact.
I've really liked the last few minutes of George. Really lively. He's gotten himself involved as a link for a small forward, linking between the midfield and the forward line.
Ball to be one in the middle. Offerman's a long kick inside forward 50. Van Ness, though, there to clean it up for Port. Stubbings over the top, and now they can generate something from the wing. Rossman to a contest up forward. Oh, great hands again, Tovey.
We'll get a good view of this set shot for goal. Hang it out to the right post and it'll roll back in. He's becoming an expert in it, but just great defence by Port Melbourne in the end. They clogged the corridor. I know Brisbane got the ball going forward, but ability to turn the ball back over and then great use inside 50, and this is going to be his 4th shot from essentially the same spot. Singing his praises, and
well, he's becoming one to watch in this competition is Josh Tovey. This is for his 4th goal. And he's got it. Port Melbourne now well in control.
I don't think I've seen someone have such a hot spot in the ground.
He knows exactly how to bend it as well. But you're right, the ability to generate turnover has been their power today, and they have such great spread around the ground. They've got people showing up in waves, and then when they target Tovey, they're looking at their most dangerous because he's launching at the football. He's got strong hands, and you get him in this spot, this pocket, this half of the forward 50, he's most likely kicking the goal.
Port Melbourne just been much better on the outside of the contest today. They're winning the disposal count post clearance by 30-odd, but you can see that class and that change in run and carry. They've had a bit of a difference maker against the Lions today. The Lions traditionally much more of a kick mark team, and they've probably turned a few too many of those over today.
He won the Eastern League Premier Division Best and Fairest medal last year playing for East Ringwood. Josh Tovey at 19 years of age. He gets his opportunity at VFL level, and isn't he making the most of it? Making the most of it. He's averaging 24 disposals this season. 4 goals today, 3 last week, and a big loss to Box Hill.
Impressive form. Never know. Put your hand up for a mid-season draft pick. You never know.
Kobe Evans wants to pass it off, and he does. Liam Jones has floated forward in this last quarter.
So before this game, he hadn't kicked a goal in VFL competition before. Now he's going back for his 2nd.
He surely has kicked a goal in VFL.
Well, when I said that earlier, thank you for backing me, Bonnie. I don't actually have VFL stats for his entire AFL career. I've only kind of got it the last few years, so educated guess. He's missed his shot here.
Look, the celebration of his first goal looked like, a defender celebrating.
I think we can confidently say it's his first goal in Brisbane colours.
Yeah.
There we go.
Go with that.
We can definitely run with that one.
25-point lead. Still plenty of time on the clock. Stubbings, a hand pass missed. McCarthy goes, oh, not Stubbings, rather, Duday. The other number 12. So I think it was touched on the way through, so it's going to be a ball in rather than last disposal. Curtin takes it out of the ruck. Hits Bedendo on its way through, gets to Rankin. Bouncing ball up to half forward. Joyce out to meet it. But he's turned it over. Sam Grant.
Here from the coach's box, keep it skinny there. Trying to take a little bit more risk out of the game. Port Melbourne hold on to the ball for a little bit and almost put this one out of reach.
A tough few weeks for the Borough. They beat Sandringham by 14 points in round 1. Lost to Tassie in a great game of footy by 8 points in round 2. As we see a mark up forward to Michael Rudd. Losses to Sydney by 21 points in round 3. Box Hill by 73 last week. And they've managed to turn things around here today. And the 19-year-old Michael Rudd can line up for his second goal of the afternoon and push the margin beyond 30. In he comes. And it holds its line, it's through. Rudd has 2. Port Melbourne well on their way now. 31 points their lead.
Tommy did say the wind did die down. You saw no movement on that kick. Well executed it was. He's taken 5 marks today, Rudd, and majority of them have been contested. He's got a great set of hands and able to mark it at its 3 contested marks, actually. So 3 of his 5 have been contested, and he marks at its highest point, arms outstretched, and a real pivotal target for them up forward.
He's done some really nice things today. Just say he's 19 years old, so another one of the young brigade. But he's looked great today. Nice little finish there. Ball held its line really well.
And just his 4th game of VFL, as we mentioned, played 1 game in the VFL for Carlton back in 2024. And really on top of the midfield now, the Borough. 2 against 1. And the 1 in Hunter Moore did well to force a stoppage there.
Territory dominance for this quarter. Port Melbourne 12-5 in the inside 50s. So ability to get in there and just keep it there has been outstanding. It's making it really hard for Brisbane to score off the back as Hurd gets a free kick in the stoppage here.
Will bomb it long to a dangerous position. Big fly from behind. Beacon's caught.
They've had so many contributors through their midfield. Hurd, Rankin, Stubbins, Hobbs, Polkinghorne. They've all had really consistently high numbers, and it's really helped them dominate Brisbane's midfield, particularly in this last quarter.
Free kick to Brisbane for high contact in the wrap contest, going to Isaac Waller. Another youngster in just his 3rd game of VFL. I think it's a free kick off the ball here. And it'll be a 50-metre penalty. Waller called to play on. He's turned it over almost. The mark wasn't completed in the end by Downey. Hobbs to George. Directs his kick up to half forward. Polkinghorne over the top to Bedendo. Rudd's free in the corridor. Goes back on his mark and points towards the goal. Says, I got this, guys.
I got this. Going to waste a little bit of time. Take my 30, full 30. Take the sting right out of the game and make sure of it.
Yeah, it's nearly getting out of reach now. We're going to have to see some significant risk from Brisbane in terms of the way they're playing to be able to score enough in this back end of the game to come away with a win. But Port Melbourne have been really impressive this last quarter. They've dominated the game. They've controlled the tempo, controlled the territory.
Started this season in fine form. 8 goals in his first 3 games. Goalless last week against Box Hill for Dom Bedendo. And this one's across the face and won't register a score.
It's been very hard to kick a goal from that side of the ground. I've seen lots of balls go across the face of the goals.
Tovey must have read a different memo.
Yeah.
He knew that it was going to be this pocket.
That's smart IQ. Hasn't rolled out there leading too many times. Save the energy.
Here's Gann, hands it off to Clark. To George. Looking for icing on the cake here. Bedendo snap from the pocket. Misses.
We're seeing the game really open up here. seen the game really open up here for Port Melbourne in this last quarter, but that's probably off the back of Brisbane. A bit of injury carnage down here. They've only had one on the bench for this entirety of this last quarter, so they've got some injury concerns out of this game, and we've seen Port Melbourne just really run on top of the ground.
Who are you noticing on the bench, Tom?
Well, I think they've all disappeared, to be honest. There's actually no one sitting on the bench.
They might have...
There's a couple of... No,
might allude to maybe
no
the
one
game.
sitting on the bench.
Might allude to the game this afternoon, just resting a couple of players over for the Adelaide game. So maybe the emergencies have decided they've had enough of today's footy.
Usually is the case.
Murphy's getting some hamstring treatment here, but he's the only one left on the Brisbane Lions bench.
Goodness. There are emergencies for the AFL game. Zach Ostelski, Brain and Joyce. I think Joyce is still out there enjoying racking them up. He's got 26 disposals. Zach Ostelski with the 4 touches. He might be rested late in this game. And Shadow Brain as well with the 8 disposals. So that's fallen away a bit for Brisbane as Port Melbourne get themselves a free kick for high contact. And I think we've got a mark. Just trying to find where the ball is. It's in the hands of Hamish Morrison. Originally from New South Wales, has come from Sydney via the Swans Academy. Played some footy with Airport West last year. From right on 50. Gives it everything, doesn't have the accuracy.
Airport West in the EDFL.
The Borough win it back. Again off to Rankin. Baldwin back with a flight. Mark is paid, just a required distance.
Baldwin's gone back and started playing on Liam Jones.
I was just about to say, has Liam Jones gone back or has Baldwin gone back? I'm not quite sure.
It's a full reversal. I think they've seen the match-up and they thought, well, we better get another tall in defence in there.
Hobbs bombs it long to a big pack inside 50. Big fist from Duday. Van Ness at ground level, kick smothered. Coming through Aberley, last line of defence. Look out, Tovey's trying to catch him. And they get out of trouble. Joyce, Duday. Ball's almost out of bounds. Scrubs it along the line. Ball went out to meet it. Grant to Hobbs to Rankin. Hugged up against the boundary. That's not 15. Clark centres the kick to a dangerous position. Tovey again. Mark not paid this time, but he might get a free kick for a push in the back. He's going to line up for potentially goal number 5.
Port's ability to generate forward half turnovers has just been it's been their weapon really in this second half particularly. It allows them to have repeat inside 50 and continually put Brisbane's defence under pressure, and this is where we find Tovey in great positions, is able to outwork and muscle out his own teammate in that replay to get the ball, and then the push in the back, and now yes, Jesse's lining up for his 5th.
4 goals, 2 already. He's also had 6 score involvements this afternoon. Josh Tovey making a name for himself this afternoon. His tensions flaring here in Springfield.
They certainly are.
Get melee fines in the VFL.
I think you do.
Get the checkbook out, boys.
A bit of money to be made in this. It's still going. A couple of spot fires. Oh, that didn't look good from George.
Yeah, that'll be a week or 2.
Might have to.
It's all happening down here. The umpires have lost control, and one of the umpires was collateral damage in that. They got thrown in the contest. He got taken out in the contest as well. So lots of push and shove, a little bit silly. Tuvey kicked the goal and then went for the man on the mark, and it continues on now. No need to bubble over at this point in the game. But for the Brisbane Lions, they've got no one left on the bench now, so their 2 emergencies obviously left for AFL duties just in case something happens. Luke Lloyd's gone home sick, and they've got no one left. A couple of injuries as well.
Goodness, not a great day at the office for Brisbane. So this is a a replay after Josh Tovey just went to his opponent and said, I've got 5 in youngster Ty Hayes, and then it was on after that. So plenty to be reviewed during the week, you would think. Not the scenes you want to see in our game.
If we get back to the football conversation, we're talking about Port Melbourne's front half intercepts. They've had the 39 of them, and they've scored 7 goals, 3 off the back of it. So that's been a really good result for them.
They'll be happy just to waste the clock here, Port Melbourne. Confidence-boosting victory for them. Their last win was in round 1. They've dropped their last 3. They've got Werribee next week before the bye in round 7. Such a tight competition that wins are really valuable, particularly at this stage of the season. So I'll be very pleased to get back on the winners list. Of course, they've got the wild card round as well, and the VFL. It's been introduced to the AFL, but it's been the VFL the last couple of years. So
live ladder. Port Melbourne, if they win this game, will jump from 21st to 14th. Significant jump.
That's why I said it was valuable. Thank you for giving me the facts to back me up, Doc.
I'm right there with you.
Couldn't quite explain it in those terms, but that about says it all. Beacon inboard to Aberley. Could it be completed by McCarthy? It's a free kick and advantage paid to Port Melbourne. Great kick inside forward 50. Running all over them at the moment.
That should be 50. It should have been 50. He professional held him up. There was 2 other Port Melbourne players running free inside 50, so umpire having none of it though. I think he had enough after that melee and the wrestle before to be paying any more free kicks.
Max Ryder's shot at goal. Member of the Allies a couple of years ago. Had his injury troubles recent years. Former Swans Academy. Finds himself at the Borough and finds himself on the score sheet. Another to Port Melbourne.
They've been lining up, the Port Melbourne forwards, in this last quarter. They've just been defending really well and generating that turnover. It's really been strong for them, as we've said multiple times, and that's just another score to add to that tally of their ability to turn over the footy.
They also you can see the difference in work rate. Port Melbourne were probably working harder than Brisbane for most of the game, but you lose your bench. That's going to get exposed even further, and you can see that offensively and defensively. Offensively, they're spreading the ground really well, and defensively, their ability to work up and down the ground and cause turnovers has been outstanding. So a well-deserved win by Port Melbourne. Better team today, and be very happy with the way they played.
Kicked the last 5 goals of the game now. The Borough 6 of 7 in this final quarter. They led by 11 points at 3/4 time. Hungry for more. Penry Court just got the handball away. Straight to Aberley low of the Lions as the siren sounds here in Springfield. A dominant victory to Port Melbourne. And they're back on the winners list in fine style. They beat the Brisbane Lions by 45 points, and I think they pressed the wrong song on the PA.
Yes. They have.
As the Lions theme song rings out here at Brighton Homes Arena, it is definitely a win to Port Melbourne by 45 points. Comprehensive in the end. They get their first win since round 1. I think it is the right song in the end. They do sound very, very similar. Port by 45 points, 13-11-89 to the Lions, 6-8-44. Rankin, the leading disposal winner for Port Melbourne with 28 disposals, including 4 inside 50s. But it was a great match from Josh Tovey. 13 disposals, 8 score involvements, and he kicked 5 goals, 2 of his own. 3 coming in that final quarter where they really broke the game open. And for the Lions, Dara Joyce leading the way with 29 disposals for the Lions, and Torrent with the 27 plus 8 clearances, 12 tackles, 8 inside 50s for Reece Torrent today. He was certainly one of their best.
He definitely was, and he needed a bit more support from the rest of the Brisbane midfielders. He was holding a lot of the load through clearance, and he was also the one putting a lot of tackles on as well. He had 12 for the day, so definitely needed more support. But on the flip side, Port Melbourne, I want to also give a shout out to Benny Hobbs. He grinded out that game with 27 disposals, 6 clearances and 9 inside 50s, and we throw down to Tom.
Yeah, down here with Josh, mate. You've kicked 5 today. You had a bit of a hot spot, though, down this end. You kicked 4 from the one position.
Yeah, no, I was just lucky to get on the end of the boys' pressure. We went into the game with that being our sole focus, just trying to be harder at the contest, and, yeah, fortunate enough to get on the end of them.
Really scrappy game for most parts, but started to open up, and you got some really good looks in that last quarter.
Yeah, I think that's just credit to us boys, just trying to work hard. We knew they wanted to sort of chip mark, so we just want to try and beat them to the outside and try and back our pace in.
Congratulations. Really outstanding performance in that front half, and enjoy the win.
Cheers, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good on you, mate.
He's grown before our eyes is Josh Tovey, really making the most of his VFL opportunities in 2026. Winning a league best and fairest in the Eastern Footy League last year at 19 years of age. 5 goals today, coming off the back of 3 goals and 21 disposals last week against Box Hill. These are the stories in the VFL competition that we love to see.
Yeah, they are. He played an outstanding game, and he was crediting his teammates there, and you can definitely say that. He's off the back of an amazing turnover number. They ended up kicking 11 goals, 5 from turnover. So their ability to work hard defensively, put that pressure on, as he just spoke about, and then their work rate off the back of that. To have that sort of number, it was outstanding.
Let's get back to Tom.
Yeah, Lockie, outstanding performance. It was a real big arm wrestle in that midfield, but you flexed your muscles in that last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit to the boys in there. They really got after him, and I think that was our sort of key goals to really ramp up our contest. I think the past few weeks have probably been a little bit lacklustre, but today they really turned it up, and it showed in the end.
And it took until that last quarter, but you wore them down, and the game started to open up and really played on your terms.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those first 3 quarters, like you said, were a real arm wrestle. I think the wind was probably a little bit more prevalent in the first 2 quarters, but then when it came to the 3rd and 4th, kind of died off and might have worked to our favour. But yeah, the boys just really got after it, and it was good to see in the end.
How is it in that midfield mix? A really good ground level balance between you and Hurdy and those guys around the footy?
Yeah, I think that's something that I think we've had a couple of years playing together now, and we're sort of bouncing off each other, and we've got some really good young boys like Tuvi coming in and just playing his role, and I think that's all that we can ask from each other, but it was really good fun.
And your defence was really strong as well. Brisbane had their opportunities, particularly in that first quarter, but you stood up really well at your back 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jimmy Van Ness was great coming down. Tom Highmore got done in the warm-up, sadly, but then the other boys just stood up. Nettie coming in, Hamish Morrison, his first game was terrific, so I think the boys really just played their role, and that's all we can ask.
Congratulations. I'll let you go enjoy it with the boys.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that one. Good to see you.
The second win of Port Melbourne's 2026 VFL season, Lockie Rankin. 28 disposals, 4 inside 50s for him this afternoon, but they'll be pretty pleased to get the job done away from home this afternoon. Bonnie and Sam, a dominant victory in the end by the Borough, one they just needed. Yeah,
it was, and we spoke about it a bit, but their work on the outside was the difference in the game. Off that, I was talking about that turnover number, but they won the contested possessions by 24, and plus 21 of that was after clearance. So their ability to work around the ground and win contests was outstanding.
Port Melbourne by 45 points as we take you to Marble Stadium for the AFL clash between St Kilda and West Coast Eagles, as I hand over to Kelly Underwood.
Thank you very much, Jess Webster. The footy continuing under the closed roof here. It is St Kilda hosting the West Coast Eagles. Good afternoon and welcome to the Sunday Ticket on Fox, brought to you by Yui, the official partner of footy fans. And it's a very good afternoon to Ben Dixon, Cameron Mooney, and from the Fox Footy newsroom, David Zeta. Welcome, gentlemen.
Okay,
Ben, memorable Anzac weekend so far, and we've got a massive day still to come today. Can't wait.
Has been enormous this weekend, Anzac Day yesterday with the MCG, the centre of attention for the Essendon Footy Club and Collingwood, and an old boy gets a PB and a 4th medal. Anything can happen, and it's just going to continue today. As you mentioned, the Sunday Ticket, we've got St Kilda and West Coast, and the reigning premiers at the Gabba hosting Adelaide, who had a great win last week. And then we finish in the nation's capital with the Giants and the Red Hot Roos.
We're all on North there, aren't we?
Oh,
North are flying.
That's the upset. We've had upsets all weekend, and we could see